So I guess I have to talk now, huh?
Exactly.
Okay. This is the first time I've done one of these things in StreamYard, as evidenced by the little duck in the upper right-hand corner, which I'm not paying to remove. So, um, I prefer OBS, but I did want to talk about this movie some more because the circumstances during which I saw it weren't exactly ideal, and I got tired of seeing everybody overinflate this movie before it even came out, before they even saw it. The trailer was okay; it was nothing spectacular. I mean, I've seen worse trailers, I've seen better trailers, um, but yeah, and for this very first time of me rambling on about a movie which you guys can come here and see for free without having to waste your time watching it on YouTube, um, I invited Stormy, a friend, who actually, well, we'll get into her opinion of this movie in a little while, but thank you for coming here tonight.
You're welcome.
Um, so let's get into it, I guess. Um, I saw this movie in IMAX, which is how I see most movies, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was spectacular, but I didn't think it was crap either. There were things about it I enjoyed, and there were things about it that I severely loathed and um, wish I could not have seen. And we'll get into that. I guess maybe we can save all that for the tearing, I guess, if you want, or we can like fold that into the tearing. I mean, if there's things about the movie you want to say, by all means, go ahead.
It was amazing. It was awesome, and I have no idea what your gripe is about, but I'm guessing I'm gonna definitely find out what it is.
That's almost clear delusion right there. But
Oh.
because
Oh, Mike.
you
No,
know,
no.
I don't know, maybe you guys saw a different cut of it in Texas, but here on the East Coast, the version we
Already
got
with
was
the okay, already going below the belt with the Texas talk. Okay,
it was
alright.
it was
Yeah.
okay. Well, no, because I mean, they do have I guess they might have like different regional versions
Oh,
of the movie.
okay.
There used to be
Alright.
like domestic and international, so maybe there's like Texas and the rest of the world. But
How dare you, first of all, how dare you, sir, talk about my wonderful state, the beautiful state of Texas. That is
it's
amazing. How dare
it's
you, number 1.
it's just too easy. Okay, so you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the tier and then talk about it because you'll see. Because I
Okay.
spent all of a very hard 10 minutes putting this together, and
Look at you.
yeah. So here are the categories. No Nerdman esque categories. You got great, you got good, you got it's okay, you got meh, and this one here is a special one. This is reserved for definitely one particular individual, definitely. Um,
Oh my god, no, you
but
didn't.
yeah, so I will show you the rest there.
Okay, alright,
Now
alright.
I have it in order. I mean, you can choose. You know what? I'll even let you choose. Whoever you want first. By all means, go ahead. And yeah, so you start.
Who's the shirtless one?
Oh well, see, I did that. I put that in for you and all the females out there. That's
Who's
Bruce
the
Wayne. That's Bruce Wayne. He's the only one
Oh,
because I split it between Batman and Bruce Wayne because there is a lot more of Batman in the movie than there is Bruce Wayne. And I was gonna do the same thing with Selena and Catwoman. But I'm like, you know what? Nah. So, but go ahead. You can choose.
Okay, let's go ahead and choose the Riddler.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Wow.
can't say that and then not let me go
So
ahead
that's
and choose.
that's
Let's
that's
just
how you wanna start this? Okay.
Yes, alright, okay.
So where would you put the Riddler?
I would put him as good.
Mhm. Well, I'm it's
You wanna
gonna
go ahead and put him up there?
well, he's gonna be there while you're telling me why you liked.
Because he was fucking amazing. I love the fact that he had a little bit of thriller, a little bit of psychosis, a little bit of mind games. I love it. I love the serial killer vibe with him. Loved it.
Mhm. Anything else? Have you ever the dude that played him? Have you ever seen him in another? In
Yeah,
another yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Oh no,
Did
because
did you did you
I've
did you have a comment about that too?
well, yes, I've never seen him in anything. This is my first time seeing him.
Really?
And yes, yes. And I don't think he was bad. However,
No, he was not. No,
that
you're
category,
bullshit. You're
this
bullshitting
category,
out. You're
no, 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 no,
bullshitting.
no. This is not the Riddler. This is if somebody took the Zodiac Killer, John Doe from Seven, and I can't think of any other analogies. This was not. This was not. This was it. I'm not a fan of Jim Carrey, but I would have preferred Jim Carrey's Riddler to whatever this was. This was not the Riddler. This was
Again.
just this was some disaffected
Oh
um
my gosh.
it
Here
was
we
it
go.
was it was bad. It was really really bad. It was really bad.
Excuse me, but I think that the problem is that you continuously get stuck in that if it does not go ahead and like, mirror the comic completely, you
What
you just like basically disregard it. And I don't think they were gonna get anything on the level of Tim Burton Batman. I mean, because they did the perfect, live action for a comic book movie that
mhm.
there's no topping that. So I have to basically rank it for what it is, not for what my expectation of it was, but just for how it was. And I'm telling you, that is nonsense what you're doing there.
Have
I
you
will settle for it's okay,
I
but
you know
not
what?
Nolan trash.
It's I can't. This is the only one you want to even shirtless Bruce Wayne there, you want to do great or whatever. I'm okay with that. But this
Yeah, well, then you're not doing by the actual criteria of the ranking. Now, I said it's good. You say Nolan trash. It would be meh then.
see I realize since you already pledged your allegiance to DC that you might not be familiar with the MCU, but there was a quote from one of the best movies of the series where um Sharon Carter is relaying what Peggy told her when you plant yourself like a tree and you say no, you move. This is where I'm planting myself because the Riddler was I mean, even I would even take no, I wouldn't take Tom Hardy's Bane. Never mind, I wouldn't do that. This was just bad. It was bad. It was the Penguin. Well, we'll get into the Penguin. Is he? Oh wait, I forgot the Penguin.
Yep, uh-huh, so you better go ahead and,
Shoot.
rethink that one. You better rethink that
And
one, sir.
I even had the picture. Okay. So, but yeah, no, he was still the Riddler was still the worst. It was just there was
Okay,
no
what was your main objection to the Riddler? I would love to hear this.
I've seen the Riddler before in serial killer movies. The Riddler is not a serial killer. Now, he's not like the Joker where he's like, he's psychotic. See, and this is the thing too. When Nolan did the Dark Knight series, it was it was not the Riddler, I mean the Riddler, the Joker that I was accustomed to, which was Jack Nicholson or Cesar Romero. Now, Cesar Romero is more clownish, and I'm okay with that. Jack Nicholson, he was he straddled the line between clownish and homicidal because he would kill you, but he would make you laugh before he killed you. Whereas Heath Ledger, whatever Heath did, it was um how can I say this? It was anarchistic. He was just there was nothing comical about it. He was just there, like he said, to make the world burn or watch the world. Most people like to see the world burn or whatever it was that he said. So that to me is not the Joker. The Joker
Well
that I'm familiar with, Joker that I like, is one that's in between Cesar Romero and Jack Nicholson.
Okay, so maybe the MCU has clouded your judgment in your mind and made it to where you have to have laugh, laugh, funny, funny, little joke crack
No,
here,
no.
action joke here, and has also went ahead and rewired your mind to think that that is a standard for any type of movie. Whereas DC
Mhm.
and Marvel are not the same. I am just stating
Thank
that doesn't
goodness.
mean that the Riddler has to be funny. I mean, he made them have their own choice. So I don't
Well,
see.
it doesn't he does okay. Have you ever watched Gotham?
I watched some of Gotham, not all of Gotham.
I watched all what, 5 seasons, I think it was. It was either 5 or 6 seasons, and I watched it all, and that Riddler was better than this Riddler, and that Riddler wasn't, um I mean, he said some funny things, but he wasn't like Jim Carrey comical, but he wasn't this. Although there were aspects of him that were like not serial killer-ish, but almost like in between. That Riddler was way better than this. I would take that Riddler over this Riddler.
I disagree. I remember I saw that Riddler. He brought
There's, I
nothing.
mean, there
Eh.
there's nothing unique about this dude. He's a dude in a flak jacket, and he looks like a gimp. He looked like he stole his costume from the Bruce Willis section of Pulp Fiction. Like, just no, not for me. Not for me. I did not like. And then when he wasn't, like, when they unmasked him, like,
Mhm.
I don't know what he was doing, like the dude, but like it wasn't for me. It wasn't
It
for me.
wasn't your Riddler.
Well, no, it wasn't. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It took me out of the movie.
Okay,
It
well,
like
just because you didn't like something doesn't mean I don't have to like it. I
Well, that's true.
enjoy
That's
this
true.
Riddler
But for the
because
purpose of this review, though, it will be Nolan level trash.
oh, okay, so basically this is not even a democracy here. Okay, all right,
Well,
gotcha,
at
gotcha,
least in regards to
gotcha.
the Riddler. At least in regards to the
Oh,
Riddler.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
Everything else, absolutely. This is the one thing I'm immovable about. And this is honestly, this level here, this is the reason I created it. Because out of all these other things, I'm okay with all of these other things here, all these other elements. Although the Batmobile, we'll get into that when we talk about it. But this one here,
The
I can't.
Batmobile was
I
fire. It
can't.
was amazing. I don't know what you have to say about
But I
that, but
mean,
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
you know what we'll put an asterisk next to it, and that way they'll know that you thoroughly enjoyed it, and you would put it in okay.
I would put all of these on great and good. Do you
Well,
not
see, but
understand that? Like, I
see,
would put all of these characters under great and good.
I guess
These are
this is
amazing.
the level of delusion I'm going to be working with.
A level
Right.
of delusion, or just the pure fact of what I like and what I enjoy does not mirror what you like and enjoy. But
And
okay, go on.
wait a minute. I have to hold on. I have to take exception to your comment about jokes in the MCU and all that stuff. See, because I would rather have movies that make me feel good, like make me feel positive feelings, other than movies that make me feel as if I want to, do bodily harm to myself, which is
But
what most of these movies do.
really, I mean,
But
does it
but
though? Does
wait, when
it?
we get to, I have more to say about that. I'll
Oh,
leave it
I'm
at that.
sure you
But yes,
do.
yes. How do you do these things here? Because I see. Hold on. Let's see. Because, well, before we start the next one, let's see. You see that? Real Comics is the best comic shop in North America. You know, by comics, then for you. Thanks, elitist. Even though you're doing your own thing, so you probably can't even see that. But thank you. LB says this shall be interesting. The amount of delusion that I'm hearing right now, and we just started. It's going to be frightening here. To go, like, that's insulting. And huh. What's up, K Dots? Of course, see, ridiculous. MSK, MCU for life. What's up, bro? How's it going? Hi to you.
Hello.
Okay. Next.
I mean, I'm sorry that I enjoy a good thriller, a good immersive, like, action, thrilling, psychological thriller. I'm sorry if I prefer those type of movies.
Was
So
it? But was this really a psych?
yeah,
No.
I loved it. Yeah.
Let's do the next one. Good.
Well, I work with mental health people, of course. No, it's your turn to
Mhm.
pick. You turn to
No,
pick.
no. I said I was gonna let you. This is you. It's all you. Good.
Oh, okay. So this is oh, I see it now. So you're upset of how he ranked the Batman on the ranking on the Great Council. Okay, I got you now. I get
No,
what this is about.
no. This has nothing at all to do with that.
Oh no, of course not.
I
Wink, wink.
promise.
Wink,
I
wink,
am
sir.
content. I am content that the Gimpler is where he belongs. Okay, that's it. Everything else is gravy. We could talk about, and I have a lot of things to say about the other stuff too. But this is yeah.
Falcone.
Okay, where would
Great.
you? Great?
Great.
Great. Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Oh, are you gonna tell me there's something wrong about him too?
Oh, good, good, no, don't. Why
I
would you
loved
say
how
great?
he was portrayed. I loved it. He played off the gangster so well. I just loved
Mhm.
it. I loved how he was portrayed. Plus, I love that actor. He's fucking amazing. You know,
Uh,
whatever he does.
Carmine, yeah. Um, I do like, Totoro,
Mm.
and he did play him calm, I guess, you know?
Mhm.
I don't necessarily know that he was in the movie enough for me. I mean, he was good in the parts that he was in, but I didn't feel he was as much of a presence as he should have been, especially with the revelation that he was Catwoman's father. Like, that could have been a little more. I mean, there was that moment where, I forgot how it was revealed. Did Bruce find out, or was it did she tell him or something like that? No, I think he found it out. Didn't he find it out?
Find
Whatever
out about
whatever
what?
about that, Selena was his daughter, was
Oh,
fucking.
Selena told Bruce about that. Well, told Batman about that.
Okay. Yeah, even I mean, but that I don't know, that moment, it was it was just okay, you know? But I do like him. I agree with you. I mean, unfortunately, he is also the, one of my most, traumatic moments in cinematic history, when he was getting pissed on one of the Transformers in the first Transformers movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that kind of ruined the entire series for me because 'cause I'm like, "Yeah, these movies, they're not for me. They're not for me." I don't think a Transformer pissing on a human being is my idea of entertainment, but, I should have though, because that's kind of funny, right? And since I do like the MCU and they're all about humor and blah, 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 right?
Well, if that's what you like,
Isn't that
people
isn't
pissing
that
on
the
each
DC
other, hey, that do not judge here.
but
I do
isn't
not
that the
judge. Do not
DC
judge them.
narrative though, right? The DC fan? The DC, delusional fan? But
Is
anyways.
that delusion or is it the fact that MCU movies have action, action, comedy, comedy, action, action, haha stuff?
Mhm. And they even do
So
that while there's action too. They go, "Ha ha." Um, but yes, I do like, John Turturro though. He was
He's
good in the
fucking
role.
amazing. That's an amazing actor right there. I love that man.
I just feel that he could have been in it more. Maybe there's more, like, I heard that Matt Reeves, there was, at least one scene in particular with a character, that they cut out for some reason.
Mhm.
So and that's the other thing too, since this is a spoiler discussion, I mean, it ends with him getting killed, like,
Yeah,
so
by the Riddler, yeah.
yeah, so you can't, like, you can't use them anymore, I mean,
Okay, and then they
I don't
show
know.
how Penguin will possibly go ahead and rise to power, which you know
Yeah,
that was that's gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Oh, you know what? Let me see if I can. I don't
Which
know.
they're gonna do the spin-off series with that, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I can,
What?
I was gonna see if I can add, um, because I don't have. Actually, let's see. Hold on. Well, um, yeah, I just feel that was a, I don't know. I mean, I would like to see him, like I said, he wasn't a character that I really didn't like. If they killed the Riddler, I would be quite okay with that. But, um, I mean, especially as being a mob boss, I would wanna see him. I would wanna see more of him in the movie, but
Okay,
I understand. I understand why. It's fine.
okay. So it's like, now I see what's going on here. You're upset about, I put this at masterpiece. I get it. I get what we're doing here. Okay. All right.
This
Well,
but
oh,
this
sure,
isn't.
sure. Oh, yeah, wink, wink. Yeah, sure, sure. I forgot, yeah. It's not about that. Wink, wink.
You do realize this isn't a masterpiece, right?
You do realize that it is, right?
It's not. It's so not.
I'm
It's
sorry. I'm not gonna agree with you. This is a masterpiece. This is freaking amazing. Like, I could not stand the Nolan Batman. Did not like,
See, no, now you're just trying to butter me up for something else.
no,
So,
I'm not, because we have had a lot of discussion on other streams where I have stated this, and I've also stated it on the Great Council when we were there, that I did not like Christopher Nolan's Batman. I just did not like him. No, against nothing against the movies, but I just did not like him. Didn't care for him. Wasn't my favorite.
Well,
But
wouldn't it be against the movie if you didn't like the movie?
what do you mean? I like the Joker.
Well, yeah, no, but you said nothing against the movie though. Like, but you didn't like the movies.
I didn't like Christian Bale's portrayal of Bruce Wayne.
Uh,
I didn't have a problem with the action of the Batman when it came to Christopher Bale. I did have a
oh,
problem with the
really?
voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like,
Is that
Heath Ledger's performance of the Joker. Did like that.
mm-hmm.
Hated Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, you know?
Mm, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but but it is what it is. But I could just say this one right here, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed a Batman since Keaton's Batman. I haven't enjoyed one. So I have to say that I like this one. It was good.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Even you didn't enjoy Val Kilmer?
No, I didn't.
No?
No.
Hmm. I should have maybe did a tier with that. Why not? It wasn't that
Well,
bad.
I didn't really enjoy him because even he himself said it in his like I went back to go ahead and watch that movie that was on Amazon with that Val Kilmer had, where
Mm-hmm.
he stated how he was kind of put in a box whenever he portrayed the Batman, and it wasn't actually his portrayal at
Mm-hmm.
all. So didn't have free range to really act it out. So he had to just stay in that box. So that's something I did not like. So, anyways.
Hmm.
Anyways,
I think he was
okay.
definitely better than Christian Bale, and he was better than George Clooney.
Well, anybody's better than George Clooney in the
Mm.
nipples, suit.
Well,
So there
Clooney
you
did a good job as Bruce Wayne, I think.
okay, yeah, no, nipples, no.
So he
Nipples
didn't. Well,
Batman, no.
yes, he had nipples as Bruce Wayne, but they weren't on display.
Well, they were on display in the Batman suit, so there you
Mhm. Okay, pick your next person. Because that was just banter, so I could add the Penguin. See, he's there now.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you,
See?
thank you. Yes, that amazing man. Penguin, great.
I'm seeing a trend here.
Oh, yeah, see, since I know now why I was invited on here. Now, yes, I must go ahead.
No, I needed somebody that was like the complete and polar opposite of what I thought about this. You know, borderline delusional. And unfortunately, we're past that borderline, so we're in the complete land of delusion. But okay, so what'd you like about the Penguin?
I loved his portrayal of Penguin. Are
Mhm.
you kidding me? I loved it. I loved everything. I did not even know that was Colin Farrell to begin with. They did such a great job on the makeup on him. And then to go ahead and find out that he actually went outside of the set and was like basically going and grabbing coffee, running errands in it, and people still
Mhm.
didn't recognize him. It was just I thought that was awesome. For me, I really enjoyed him. He played it very well. He played that gangster role very well that I loved it. Or
Mhm.
yeah. So what is your issue with the penguin?
Well, I do agree. The makeup job was seamless. I mean, I literally kept looking for the seam. I was trying to see something and I didn't. There were times though that I did see Colin Farrell though. It was in a couple of scenes. It was just flashes though. It wasn't because I was looking for it, so that's why I saw it. But if I wasn't looking, just like, hey, this is some dude that's playing the Penguin I've never heard of or whatever, it was that good, you know. But having prior knowledge that it was Colin Farrell or whatever, you try to look at it in that through that lens to see, you know. Um, but it was it's a character that needs to be developed further. I guess in the show that'll happen, and then maybe in the next movie or something. But yeah, I he was okay. He was okay. He wasn't as good as Falcone. He was definitely better than the Riddler. I mean, anybody was better than the
Oh
Riddler.
gosh,
But
he's an
but
amazing actor.
I don't know if it's from growing up with it, but like I kind of like Danny DeVito and Burgess Meredith a little more than him.
You did, even though like they had the whole living
Com-
in a sewer, eating fish
yeah.
thing.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing, okay? Because they've been doing this with Batman now since what Joel Schumacher did. And it
Mhm.
wasn't a customer told me about this. And after they said this, it like literally unlocked my way of thinking in regards to those two movies. Like, say what you will about those movies, comical, campy, whatever the case is. Um, Basically, they said that Joel Schumacher was trying to emulate the 66 series in the movies, and that's why he made them extremely campy, and Arnold Schwarzenegger with the one-liners, Jim Carrey and all that stuff. And once I looked at it through that prism, I understood it, and I was it is mega campy, but I don't have that much disdain for it. And especially seeing the way the pendulum swung after that to Christopher Nolan land, where everything had to be real and Gotham City was Chicago, no effort whatsoever. Like I would prefer watching those movies compared to no, and like anything like this movie by default, even by the fact that you could just do whatever they did, except for the Riddler to me it's just complete and utter trash. There's nothing about him that is redeemable in my eyes. But just the fact that it's not the Nolan movies, it makes it leaps and bounds better than anything that has been seen recently. I don't know. This whole realism, like if you're going to make the Batman real, then how about making his villains comical? Stop with this. Everything doesn't have to. You're basing these movies on the source material, which are comic books, and comic books aren't necessarily. They're not. They're not. What's the word? Like documentaries. They don't give you. I mean, well, there are some books that actually do tell you the true stories, but it's supposed to be fantastical. They're supposed to be superhero-y. And I'll get more into that when we talk about Batman. But here, yeah, I just feel that, that's why Danny DeVito's interpretation, or Tim Burton's interpretation, whoever it was, it took me a little while to get, warmed up to it. But once I did, and it fit into that universe that Tim Burton made, then it didn't bother, because he was like a monster. Like, I mean, there's this guy, like when you see Burgess Meredith, he would have like, the monocle in his eye and the crooked face or whatever, with the cigarette in there, and he'd be making the noise that he did, and waddling and whatnot. And that was funny. But like Tim Burton took it to another level where he made him almost like, like eating the fish and biting people's noses off and stuff. Like that was truly horrific, and dark, and I liked it. This here, he's just a mobster, just like, yeah, he's a dude, like, I mean, granted, there's literally no difference between him and Falcone. They're just mobsters, so if you're going to make Batman, you want to make Batman realistic, a guy who dresses up as a bat or whatever, and avenges his parents' memory and stuff. God, I didn't add them, but that's something else that we'll get into that too. But he was just this one. I'm gonna go good. So you're great. I'll knock it down 1 to good.
Okay, you can go ahead and put him to good. That's fine.
I just it's just what would distinguish him in a Batman movie like this. Batman, again, if you want to make Batman realistic, if you want to make him a detective, whatever else, operating in the quote real world, like at least have something fantastical about him, because I mean, he is going to be a peak specimen because he studied with all these, masters. He knows all this, hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. But you know what I mean?
But yeah, but I mean, even on this one right here, Alfred was the one that taught Batman, was he not, in this version of Batman?
I honestly don't know.
Because we don't know his origin like we did Christian Bale's, Nolan films. So I have to just basically, just judge it or rank it based upon just what they're giving me now, not what I'm trying to insert or fill in the blanks about. So I can just state, if Alfred is the one that taught him, then he's going to be totally different than Nolan's Batman. And so for me, the Penguin character, like him wearing the suit and like the the bow tie and the white shirt all the time, like he stands out to me, like he's you could just tell where he is at. But anyways, that's just me. I had no problem with him, but just like I just don't have any problem with this Batman, because when I even went into the Batman,
Mhm.
I even told people before I even watched it, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I did
Really? Why?
not think because I didn't really there was nothing that really caught my interest onto it, and I went in there with the lowest expectations whatsoever, and then I was blown away when I actually saw it.
Is
And
that
it's
because it's a DC movie?
no, it's because of the fact that I just saw it for what it was and didn't have any type of expectations. So
Mm,
it didn't have to live up to any falsehood that I had put or instilled into my mind. I just judged it by what it actually gave me and what it unfolded on the screen. So
mhm.
that's why I can say that
Oh,
that's why
no.
to me it was a masterpiece.
Yeah, no, no, no. See, I was talking about your like before you were going to see it though, you had these like no expectations, you didn't think you were going to like it because that's typical for a DC movie. Because DC, they can make like these killer trailers that look awesome, but then they forget they have to do like another, 148 minutes of the movie, not just those 2 minutes on the trailer. So
Well,
you
no,
might
I
see
mean,
a trailer that's like really good, and then you go see the movie, and it's like, yeah, this wasn't as good as the trailer.
well, no, I mean, I just saw one freaking trailer to it. I saw the teaser trailer, and then I saw the actual full length trailer. After that, I didn't watch any other trailers.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think the same with me too. I only saw I don't even remember what I saw the trailer with him just well, actually no, I think I saw two trailers, but then I stopped. They show way too many trailers, like they really shouldn't. Yeah. Let's see. Pickle said, the scene between Bruce and Alfred in the hospital is one of my new favorite comic book movie moments. We'll get to Alfred. Uh,
Agree, Pickle, agree. It was very amazing.
yeah. Murdoch says Batman Forever is GOAT. Tony, what's up, Tony? Hello, Stormy.
Hi, Tony.
What do you got here? Schumacher was trying to emulate toy sales. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure toys are a part of it too, especially because of what happened with the Green Lantern animated series that they did. That was that cancellation was a direct result of the Green Lantern movie not doing well and the toys not selling well. Shrek and Penguin were the weakest part of returns. Um, well, I mean, compared to Catwoman, absolutely. Hmm, Catwoman was a lot of things. Michelle Pfeiffer, yeah, but I get if you had to pick the weakest, yeah, I guess they would be, but I still enjoyed them. Definitely better than anything Nolan did. Um, but okay, go ahead, Stormy. Pick another.
Okay, so I will go ahead and go with trying to look. Let's go ahead since we were talking about Alfred. Let's go ahead and go with Alfred.
Okay.
I
Oh,
think
and just so you
Alfred.
know, hold on, wait. I don't want, I mean to interrupt, but between Catwoman and Bruce is Gotham City. Okay.
Oh, that's what that is? I didn't know
Yes.
what it was.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry. Oh, okay, I see the clock now. Okay, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
Okay, I put him as good.
Wait, good.
Yes.
Wow. I thought I was headed to right there, but okay.
Well, he
Is it?
didn't give me a lot to him,
I
so
was
I
just
can't
gonna
put him in
say,
great.
is it good only because yeah, he had very little screen time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just love, you know, I just love that actor. I mean, I think he's fucking amazing.
Do you
So
think? Do you think that the limp was a detriment?
no, I think Andy Serkis is an amazing job in this role.
Well,
I
no, I
don't.
mean as far as the character is concerned.
No, I don't think so. Anything like that. I mean, but here's the thing, though. They told me that if I looked at the series
Hmm.
on HBO or whatever,
Right.
that it would show me, fill me a little bit more blanks of like Alfred's history and stuff like that.
Oh, well, wait, you're talking about Pennyworth.
Uh huh.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's on HBO. That was on like some weird, like for some reason, like some like it's almost I guess like how Hulu had The Runaways and Netflix had Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and all that, and the what was it? There was the Hellstrom, I think that was also on Hulu too, and Fox had the mutant shows or whatever. Um, but yeah, I think that's on a different network,
No,
and
it's
that's
not.
really weird too. Hmm?
It's on HBO.
Is it? They've added it?
Yeah, they added it.
'Cause
It's
initially
Pennyworth.
when it started, it wasn't on there.
Yeah,
And
they
that was
have.
the other thing too, when they had their streaming service, they weren't showing like Titans and Swamp Thing. I don't believe were on those services.
Yeah, well, it's on here now. It says DC Pennyworth, and it has
Oh, okay.
2 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, they also had a 7-issue miniseries, which
Oh,
I didn't read. But yeah, is this still going on? Do you know?
don't know.
Oh,
I will
okay.
find that out right now, though.
But will that version be this version? Are they connected? Because I know allegedly this Batman movie takes place on Earth too.
Well, it says here that Pennyworth will be coming for season 3 on HBO Max.
Oh, okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'm interested to see as to where the other movies lead to Alfred's
Mhm.
character. I would
Mhm.
love to see that. I did like the little bit of relationship we did see between Bruce and Alfred, but would love to see more. And I can't really put him as great right now, but maybe down the line when I see him a little bit more, because you know how he was kind of behind the scenes, with the bomb and everything else like that. Where I just
Right.
started thinking, I'm like, if you have an envelope there, why are you opening it? But whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
It's for cinematic effect, whatever. I just let it go.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just interested to see. I mean, but
And
again, again, Andy Serkis does no wrong in my eyes. He's a fucking amazing actor. He really is.
I didn't like the way that scene was the way the scene played out. See, this is a problem. I don't like Matt Reeves. I seen one of his movies, Cloverfield, which I did like, but I saw it on TV, and I think if I'd seen it in the movie theater, I would not have liked it because the whole gimmick I felt worked better on TV.
What
But
gimmick?
the found footage thing, because it was all like, oh,
Oh,
yeah, I don't think sitting in a movie theater, like, it doesn't play as well as, like, I mean, literally, like, oh, I found this DVD, let me put it into the DVD player, and then you watch it on TV or whatever. It worked there, you know. But yeah, I just his pacing, the way he framed the action, I didn't like this. Like, he was trying to create that, oh my god, is he gonna get to Alfred in time before the thing goes off and stuff like that. It
oh,
wasn't it wasn't well
anticipation.
structured. It wasn't.
For
And
me, it was
oh no,
anticipation.
no.
It had my heart beating. It was like, "Oh, yes, sweetheart, get to him," and then to see the anger in his eyes, "Oh, yes.
Well, the tension, yeah, but then it's
Yes.
just like, oh no, there's something, it already happened. You didn't see it happen.
Yeah, uh-huh, okay.
I didn't like that. I didn't like
Oh,
that.
is it because you were disappointed?
I was disappointed. If
Okay,
you're
so
gonna
you were disappointed because you didn't see it, but doesn't make it not a great scene, though, because had the tension building, had the audience engagement in there, you were just like, "Oh my god, is he gonna make it? Is he not gonna make it?"
But there was
Yeah.
no, like, when you have the tension, you're supposed to create the tension and then have that release.
Oh,
There
they
was
had
no
to release.
release.
They
There
had
was
to
no
release.
release,
They
no.
had to release, yeah, because then when he found out what happened, then the mood goes down at that point in time.
No, it would almost be like at the end of 7 where like, well, it's long enough where, like, what's in the box? And, like, if they just, like, didn't tell you and they just put Brad Pitt in the car and that was it. Like, no, there was no, that was the release, him opening the box and seeing what was in the box. You
Mhm.
saw that, you were there for that.
I was
This
there for that, but I the tension and the fact that it already happened in past tense and everything else like that,
no.
amazing, I loved it. I
Matt
loved it.
he
It
is
was
Matt Reeves
amazing time.
is an incompetent director, and
He is not. Stop
I'm
it.
glad
Stop it.
I am glad he has individuals like yourself on there
Thank you. Thank
to
you. 'Cause
elevate him to a place he shouldn't be.
well, look at the quality of the movie he made, of course, it's amazing.
Oh my goodness. Back in the day,
This is awesome.
I don't know if they still do it, but when family members were indoctrinated into cults, what they would do is they would get people to kidnap them and deprogram them. And I think I'm gonna have to search on the internet to find somebody
Are you
because
trying to say that's the level of
you're
because I like this
it's
movie?
next level, next level. No, you're
Oh,
past, like, yeah, no.
this is an amazing film. I'm sorry. I have not enjoyed a movie in a long time, and I'm sorry. I did not. I will say I enjoyed this movie more than No Way Home. I did. I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I
Well,
did.
see that
Ask
to
Kevin.
me, knowing knowing your stance on things, that to me is meaningless because that's just okay. Like if
Okay,
you
well,
said
they did do fan service on Marvel, but, No Way Home, but still okay, go ahead.
no. Well, what's wrong with fan? You're doing things for the fans. I
Yeah, but bringing back old characters,
uh-huh.
and just for
Honoring the
fan ser
legacy of characters, one
Oh, so
character
you
that's trash and the other one that isn't. I
oh,
mean,
so I mean, if you're honoring the legacy, then you have to put Toby in there too.
well, that's why I said you're bringing one character back that's trash and the other one that isn't,
No,
which
no,
is
no, no,
Andrew.
no, no. I mean, you have to honor the legacy
But
though,
see,
like
this
you
is
stated.
but when you decide that you're not gonna do things for fans, then you end up with the Star Wars franchise.
You know what?
Okay?
What they did to Luke and Leia and fucking Han Solo in Force Awakens alone pissed me off, okay? And then
Ex
you put Last Jedi in there. How dare you, sir, bring up that
See,
nonsense? But
but
that
that's
is it that equates to Marvel and what they did No No Way Home
no
by bringing back fan
No Way
service with
Home. Why?
Toby,
Yeah.
Andrew, it's the same
Toby
thing.
uh-huh.
So, but
I
anyways,
disagree.
go
I
ahead.
disagree. But,
Oh, okay, you can
as
disagree on
far as
one.
Alfred as far as
On the
I'm concerned with
majority.
Alfred was in this movie was way better than Michael Caine, who was acting as Michael Caine in those movies. But he's not better than, what's it? Michael Gough, I think was his name, Gough. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. From the originals, and also the dude from the 66, the TV show there. He was probably the one that like imprinted the most on me when I would watch Batman 66 as a kid.
Mhm.
Um, but I felt no connection between him and Bruce though. I don't know if that was because this is again year 2 Bruce or whatever, and right now he's still trying to. Well, I'll get into that when you talk about Bruce. But there was, to me, there wasn't much of a relationship there. I mean, he might.
I think it's more of like how I would equate their relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred in this movie is
Mhm.
the fact that I would equate it to possibly a teenager trying to rebellion against everything and
I was
trying
gonna,
to do
yeah, I was gonna
something.
say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's the way I would see it. So that's why you don't see the closest there. It's like Alfred's trying to reach out to him, but Bruce is like, no, no, nay, nay.
yeah.
So
And also, I think it's also hindered by not too much screen time too.
yes,
You know, maybe
exactly. Yeah.
maybe you would, if you saw more of that, then you would have been able to feel that stronger than the like 2 or 3 scenes that he was in. He wasn't even in it much.
Yeah,
So,
I can see that.
but yeah, I'm good. We good. So
Okay, all right.
next.
Okay, so I will go ahead and put Gordon as
Mhm.
great. I'm sorry, I love Jeffrey Wright. I thought he did an amazing job.
Um, I really do not like the swapping of characters, whether
I
it's gender, race, whatever. I don't like it. However, Jeffrey Wright is awesome. He's awesome, and I enjoyed him in playing him. I enjoyed the interaction between him and Batman in the interrogation room when he was trying to get him out of there. That was I'm gonna say it. That was funny. That was comical. That was almost like, wait, there's humor in a DC movie? Like I enjoyed that interaction. It was amusing. Is that allowed? Did I just did is is the franchise going to fold in on itself because they allowed some sort of humor in this movie?
mean, I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with a little humor because it's a little bit
Oh.
of a nice balance.
Oh, no, 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 no.
It's not like
Balance.
a yeah, it's a balance because it's like, how you have like the dessert, the topping, the cherry on top. That's kind of like what the humor is in this movie. It's very subtle, but it works. It's
Mhm.
not in your face like Marvel is.
Mhm.
So, yes, can agree with
But
that.
I'm okay with this
Okay.
because I did enjoy him, and he did a pretty good Commissioner Gordon. I mean, he's just Commissioner Gordon is always supposed to be like about the law, and upstanding. And right now he's not commissioner, unfortunately, but he'll get there.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
So yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go with the Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
That was an amazing freaking car. I loved it. Loved it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm sorry, do you have something to say?
Oh, but I do.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead, do tell, do tell.
Well, see, but I have to say it's better than the Tumbler. Let's get that out of the way, and it's better than whatever Affleck was driving in Batman versus Superman. But it's not better than Michael Keaton's, and Val Kilmer and Clooney and as a car, it was okay.
Oh, oh,
As a
no, no.
sequence, it was complete and total crap.
Oh, you're
No,
delusional
no, no,
there,
no.
sir, no.
Again, Matt Reeves cannot frame an action sequence.
Oh
He
my gosh.
cannot do it.
Oh my
It was
gosh. That car
completely
chase scene alone was amazing.
it was not it was the opposite of amazing. I mean, I did enjoy I enjoyed this the cinematography, I enjoyed the rain and all that stuff, but as far as, like, because when you're watching, and I'm gonna bring it down as I did in the initial review that I get, to Fast and the Furious. When you're watching Fast and the Furious, regardless of what action you're watching, and 99.9% of it is ridiculous, but you're aware of the action, the way the action is going to be happening. You're able to see where Vin Diesel's bald head is, and you're able to see where, I don't know any of the other characters that are in there, but you're able to see where they are in regards to the action, in regards to what's going on the screen. Here, for this segment where where the Batmobile got its own entrance too, where it was introduced and then it took off, it was completely mishandled by Matt Reeves. There wasn't the action.
Oh.
There wasn't like, like you would watch, like, the French Connection. You'd watch these movies like where there's car chases, and I mean anything, like even the Blues Brothers, like watching that, it's like, compared to this was totally mismanaged.
No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
No, I'm just telling you, just as a car person, this
Mhm.
is a freaking Chevy Camaro that
Mhm.
has elements of the Ford
Oh,
Mustang as well
oh,
as a Dodge Challenger into
no,
it.
but see, but I'm not comparing.
But here is the thing though, when it had that chase scene, especially in the
Mhm.
IMAX, and you felt the rumbling on your actual
Mhm.
chair and everything,
When it
fucking
started,
amazing.
yes,
You
yes.
gotta you were brought into the movie. And
Mhm.
to see that and to see the car chase and everything else on fire, it was so fucking beautifully done. I loved it. I loved every bit about this Batmobile. It was different. It was something I didn't see before, and it was freaking amazing. I loved it.
Mhm.
So
See,
sad.
but again, I have the car is what it is,
You're
but, Matt Reeves did it no justice.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
I'm sensing more of a Matt Reeves problem that you
That's
have,
what I wasn't I
which is
didn't say.
biased.
I said it was better. I said it was better than Tumblr. I said it was better than whatever Affleck was doing. It wasn't better than Keaton and Adam West, those Batmobiles, but it would have perhaps, if it was in a better laid out scene, a better the sequel, like, it wasn't after the initial impression, the initial appearance when it made its debut and all that stuff, and it took off. It was nothing. There was nothing to further wow me by it because of the way the action was framed, the way it was, the sequence. It was poor. It was poor. And that's a Matt Reeves thing. I agree. I'm not talking about the car itself. If I was talking about the car, it's like I said, it's better. It's better than the last two that we got. But I mean, it's not better than the other ones. And I did like I think the thing in the, like, the, what is that in the back? The blue thing. I think that was kind of a nod to the '66. The little thing with the turbine, I guess it is, or whatever, in the
Mhm.
back. You know, so I appreciated that. But yeah, it could have been in a better sequence. Maybe in part two, if they have another car chase or whatever. I'll like it more. But here, it didn't cut it for me. Hopefully, he doesn't come back and direct part two. Hopefully, they get somebody else, but I don't think they will, because everybody was, yeah, whatever. But okay, good. And notice now, see, well, go ahead. I'll mention it with the final one. But go ahead.
Gotham, I would put Gotham as good.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I and this is where I will say that I need a little bit more color in the damn movie.
Wait, for Gotham?
Yeah, I needed a little bit more color because it was so gloomy at times.
Wait. What? You
I'm
do
sorry.
realize this is Gotham City, right?
Yes, I know that, but I don't know if it was my IMAX theater or what,
Uh-huh.
but it was just so freaking dark. And I didn't know if it was just the movie, if it was shot that way or not. But
Well,
when I watched it a second time in the IMAX in a like, the same IMAX, but a different movie theater, like, it was
mhm,
the same movie place, but just a different theater. It
right.
was a little bit lighter. But, I would say, like, it was good, like, but again, I need to see a little bit more of what's going on because I really didn't see Gotham as a whole. I just
Mhm,
saw little pieces of Gotham, the trash, everything else, the crime that was going on to there,
mhm,
everything else, I did see that, but I just wanted to see a little bit more of Gotham.
hmm, okay. Um, as somebody who pays attention to Gotham because of Christopher Nolan and the way he decorated Gotham City in those 3 movies,
It
like,
was it New York
not
City or Chicago?
it was Chicago. It
Yeah,
was all it was Chicago. I to me, the standard is Tim Burton.
I
I
like Tim
say
Burton's
this,
one, yeah.
he he had Anton Furst come in, and he was a architect, and he had him design a gothic Gotham City. It was a character unto itself in those 2 movies, and Schumacher did continue it to a certain extent in the next 2 movies, but then Christopher Nolan just pissed all over it, and although see, this is the thing, people have said Batman Begins, it's kind of Gotham City-esque, sorta, but it's not entirely Chicago at that point, but I honestly I remember absolutely nothing about Batman Begins. And I don't know if it's PTSD related or what. I can tell you where I was, where I
Mhm.
saw it. I can tell you who I saw it with, but I don't remember anything about that movie. I didn't even remember Liam Neeson was in it because one of my customers was like, so you remember when they were fighting when he was fighting Liam Neeson on the train? I'm like, train? What? Liam Neeson was in that movie? Like, yeah, he was Ra's al Ghul. I'm like, I don't even remember that. I don't remember anything about that movie. And they've told me that, oh well, if you want something comic booky, you should go back and watch that. But it's Christopher Nolan. I'm not watching it. So, but for me, in this movie, um, I have to,
It was great.
yeah,
Okay.
I liked the way it was. It was like the TV show Gotham. There
Mhm.
was still some of the gothicness to the way the Tim Burton movies were. I did like Gotham Square Garden because New York and stuff like that. It straddled the line between New York and Tim Burton's Gotham
Mhm.
and the TV show Gotham, and I was good with that. I did like that. So yeah, I would give it a great.
Okay, I can see that for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with, at this point, Selena.
Oh boy. Hmm.
She was great for me.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
She's fucking amazing. I love the fight sequences that she did. I love the little subtlety of the cat that she came out. I love the fact that this one that she had a purpose for why she was doing a lot of the stuff that she was doing. Very much a tortured person with a lot of damage that was going, traumatic as well as mental, and
Mhm.
just made me feel for her. And so I really like this portrayal of her. Now, is she my favorite Catwoman? No, but she's up there though.
Mhm.
She as hell was better than, like, Anne Hathaway and Halle Berry.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well, we don't count Halle Berry.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, I
We
mean,
just love
as
her.
of late, like, if I
Mhm.
can go and just talk about them, like, as of late
Mm.
ones that came out,
Right,
I
right.
I would say she's better than them.
Yeah. Anything else?
And that's it.
Mm. Okay. Um, and that's only because if we're keeping in the averages or whatever, I can't move her down to like okay. Um, she was okay. I didn't mind seeing her on screen, and I'm not speaking from a heterosexual male point of view. I'm just speaking as like an actress or whatever. I don't have a problem with her doing that. I felt no chemistry between
Oh
her
god.
and Bruce or
Oh, there was chemistry.
what's his name? Pattinson, there was none. Well,
There
you know what?
was.
Let me know. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. Sorry, there was none on his part. On her part, I feel in a conversation we had before, I won't get into specifics about that. I feel she could talk to a rock and you could feel an attraction between her and the rock because she's just that type of person. Between him and her, I didn't feel anything. But I feel her character wasn't as developed. Um okay. There okay, yes. So for the most part, I did like seeing her on the screen. I did like the scenes that she was in. But she was just okay to me. I didn't care for the little thingy there, this little window thing. I know it's just essentially a ski mask and all that and whatever, and she's not like, quote unquote Catwoman yet or something. But I'm sure she's not gonna have like the 9 life thing that Michelle Pfeiffer had and whatnot, but that's okay. And she knows her way around like, a fight and a whip and stuff like that. But there was one scene that really took me out of this movie, even more so than the Penguin. And that was right before the third act begins when everybody has to get into Gotham Square Garden and the Riddler setting off the bombs and all that. She pulls up on her bike and is like, "Hey, dude, I'm just trying to get out of town." And the reading of the line, it might have been like an ADR line or something like that, but the way she says it was just cringe. And then after she says that, then we get like a 3-minute plot exposition from the cop that she was talking to about what's going to happen now. And that entire, like, they could have just cut that out and she could have just shown up at the garden or whatever. And I would have been okay with that. I was like, well, how'd she know everything was going on there? Like, it just happened. I would be okay with that if they cut this out. If I get this when they release it, when it comes out and stuff like that, I will specifically do a cut of this movie where I cut that particular segment out. And I rarely, if ever, edit things like that because it's just like that's what the director wanted you to see. But we already know that Matt Reeves is not a competent director. So why he left that segment, that scene in there, I don't completely understand it. But it was bad. That was bad. That was really bad.
I would not base that one little line off of her whole performance. Now, you are crazy if you think that there was no chemistry between them because there was. It's just
Mm,
a very dense guy and a chick
mm,
that's coming on, and he doesn't know anything. But as a woman, I will tell you there was chemistry there, and she was giving it off, and he was, basically one, kind of, blocking it, and two, he was finally kind of getting into it. So I will say, I will disagree with you on
Uh,
that. They did have
excuse me,
chemistry.
excuse me. Can you show your work on how you came to the conclusion that eventually he came around? I
Because
saw
whenever
him.
they kissed, because when they kissed, he actually allowed that to happen.
He allowed that to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
And then how he was looking at her whenever they were departing for they went their separate ways at the end.
He looked in
You
the
can
rearview mirror.
well, he had that pain in his eyes, yeah.
Stop. There was
He
nothing
did.
there.
He does. He's very expressive with his face, his eyes. It was amazing.
Hmm.
I'm sorry if you don't see it, but I see it. I could see the chemistry. I'm sorry you couldn't, but I
Is
could.
this see? But I unfortunately see. I'm not unaware of your feelings of Mr. Pattinson. So I
We're
think
talking
there.
about Zoe Kravitz here.
I know. Well, trust me. I completely understand that. But yeah, no. I think your interpretation of their relationship is clouded by your own
No, 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 no.
feelings, Mr. Pat. Yeah, yeah.
No, because I can see it.
No,
Mhm.
I think he hypnotized you about 10 years
No.
ago with his sparkling performance
Oh, no.
as the vampire, and ever since then, yeah,
No,
yeah.
mm-mm. No, 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 no. I will go ahead and tell you wholeheartedly, this is my opinion based
Hmm.
upon seeing the Batman,
Hmm.
and, I hate those vampire movies, and it has nothing to do with Cedric Diggory at all as well. It is purely
Ah,
based upon his performance. His
Voldemort was
perform
right.
No, you're a horrible person.
He was
No.
completely right. That was the best part of that movie too.
You're wrong. Okay, all right. Bruce Wayne in this one was good.
Oh, we're going with Bruce now. Okay,
Yeah, Bruce.
good.
He was good.
Um,
He's not great yet. He still hasn't come into being his, alter ego of Bruce Wayne.
mhm,
He's possibly going to get it, when they do the time jump to the next movie. So he'll
mhm,
probably get it at that point in time. But he was good. A little bit of tortured soul. So yeah.
mhm. Um, I'm going to do that because I agree. I
Hater.
agree. I agree with what you said.
Hater.
Yes, he's not he's not Bruce Wayne. You know, because there are people, some people that say that Batman is the person and Bruce Wayne is the mask. And if that's the direction they're going to go in, then by all means, go in that direction. Um, but yeah, he just he was there was a little too much Man of Steel moping for me. Like he was just like, and I understand like he was probably still but see, this is the thing too. Somebody else mentioned that like this is a Batman, or sorry, a Bruce Wayne that's dealing with the death of his parents. And I'm like, but
Mhm.
if that happened when he was a kid, like I'm not saying you ever get over it, because it'll still always be there, but like you're in your 20s now. Like I
Mhm.
mean, there you should at least be slightly more functional as a human being, as someone who has tons and tons of money and is rich and stuff like that.
Okay, so you equate money with happiness then.
No, 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 I'm not saying be happy. I'm saying be functional. And him, he seemed to be moping and
Mhm.
just wandering through like that whole sequence in the church and all that. Like he wasn't there. And it wasn't that he was being a detective and he was being aware of his surroundings. He was just like, I don't know, it was like he was I can't explain it. He was there but not there. And if it was due to the trauma that he suffered, and you want to say at this point he's trained with all those people, unless like you said Alfred is the one that trained him. And I don't know. I wish I could recall that. I mean, I've only seen it the one time. I didn't see it twice like you, but I don't remember if that was the case. But
Well,
if it's
they didn't really go ahead and go into detail as to how he was trained or anything like that.
oh, okay.
What is going on, you
What
know
we know, yeah,
yeah,
from Batman, yeah,
stipulation of, Pennyworth, everything else that they're saying that this is why, the conclusion is that Alfred's the one that trained him. But it's
right.
just speaking as a mental health perspective,
Hmm.
this is somebody that had a very traumatic upbringing. There was an
Hmm.
isolation, didn't have any friends, socially awkward, did not even date or anything like that, has only
That we
been with
know of.
himself. So what I'm stating is that this is generally the type of behavior exhibited for somebody that's a 20 plus year old that still has not dealt with his grievances at all.
Hmm.
So yes,
So
I would say this is on par with somebody that has this emotional baggage that he's carrying along that still hasn't dealt with it yet because he's still tipping at the surface of dealing us to the truth of what his parents were and the truth of what his past is, not based upon what people
which
have told him.
Yes, yes, which brings me to another point. I did not like what they did to Martha Wayne at all. That was Zack Snyder proportion-esque slander. Like I don't know why they decide. I mean, there was this after Flashpoint. They had a or actually during Flashpoint, they had a 3-issue miniseries, which was basically what happens in there. And this is like 10 years ago, so I could spoil it. Um, is that Bruce is the one that gets shot and killed in the alley,
Mhm.
and Thomas becomes Batman, and Martha becomes the Joker because it drives her insane.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I did not like that at all, because in his mind, Thomas and Martha are the standard. Like they're good. They died being good.
Mhm.
If you throw a wrench into that, or if you try to change that or whatever, that would potentially question his whole identity. as Batman or even as Bruce Wayne. And this whole thing with, you know, his dad asking Falcone to I mean, did you really not know that he was gonna oh no, he's just gonna give him a warning, I mean, come on,
Maybe
I know,
there's some
I
people that are that naive. It's like, can I go ahead and go back to my statement earlier?
well, I know
Yeah.
there's naive people in the world.
Well, yeah, it's like how I state that I think that people are nice if you're nice to them with no ulterior motives. But
Case
you
in. Mhm.
but I'm just stating if some people believe what they believe or think the way they think, is it wrong
Mm.
for them to think that way? No, just because you have experienced different things and are at a different plateau and see things in a different light does not mean that you are right. It means that people will get there.
But see, you can think good things about people and still know that people aren't good fundamentally, but ignoring the fact that they have the potential for not being good is ridiculous.
I disagree. I say that people can be nice without any ulterior motives.
Mhm. Completely. But I I did not like this interpretation of Martha. I didn't like the interpretation
Hey,
of
you know what? It's different. They
Is it
didn't go with
though?
the standard one. Yes, it's different. They didn't go with Do you think everybody knows about that? That Thomas Wayne became Batman and that Martha became the Joker? Do you think anybody really remember that any really thought about that?
I don't
There
see,
wasn't.
this is the thing, I don't know because when you're on YouTube and stuff like that, like people, they talk about their cred and how, how they're authorized or, to talk about certain things because they've collected the action figures or, whatever. So I don't know how many people, actually know about that. I mean, that was one of the best Flashpoint stories for me, the tie-ins, because I didn't really care for Flashpoint that much. That was DC trying to be edgy, and this is where you don't have to be comical, you don't have to be quippy, and believe it or not, I'm not a fan like Joss Whedon. What he did in Avengers set all this stuff off because if you look at like Thor and Captain America, the first Captain America, and other than Iron Man was quippy because it's Robert Downey Jr. I mean, you're gonna let him do what he wants, and that's his character, even outside of the movies and stuff like that. But once Joss Whedon did that, and he had all his little Whedonisms in there with like all the quips and stuff, they just kept it going, and I'm not a fan of that either. I don't like that Joss Whedon did that. While I do like the Avengers, I've seen it in like Buffy and I haven't watched Firefly, Dollhouse and Angel and stuff like that, and it might work there, and it's okay because that's his universe. But here, it's just like sometimes out of place. I agree with that, but it just there's things you have to have some sort of balance between. You can't have everything just be, you know, I don't know. But anyways, I didn't like that. But as far as his Bruce Wayne, um, it was manageable. I just he didn't do a he isn't the Bruce Wayne that we know yet, like the playboy, the type of the one that uses that to throw everybody off the track of him being like Batman or something, or he uses the mask of Bruce Wayne to get information and stuff like that and keep his position in the city, the Gotham City and stuff. But
Yeah, because he hasn't really been about that, so he's just thought about vengeance, his own selfish, thing that he's been doing. So
yeah.
now you see at the end of the movie where he's starting to become that person that the city actually needs, not just doing it for selfish reasons. So I'm interested to see where the second one goes to.
Hmm.
And I thought it was amazing. And so that's where we come to the Batman, which is if there was a tier for fucking amazing, you would put him on there. But since you put great, I'll go ahead and go with that.
Hmm.
He is, I will say this, that
Hmm.
man right there had a wonderful little bit of arc whenever he saw, himself and, in the Riddler's little minions that were up there onto the soundstage. Like, he saw that, when they were up there in the that well, I don't even know what you would call that thing up there. But anyways, when he saw himself and when they were just like when he unmasked him, they were just like, "I'm vengeance." He
Mhm.
came face to face, with essentially himself, where it's like you're just doing it for selfish reasons. And so to see how he changed at the end of the movie, that was freaking amazing.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed this Batman. Yeah, and that's it.
And you enjoyed the Batman because of the Batman, not because of your feelings about, Mr. Sparkle here, right?
No, not at all.
Mhm. Okay.
Not at
Um,
all. Did I say anything, vulgar about him? No, I'm saying I loved his performance of Batman. Didn't think I was, but I really enjoyed it.
oh, no, you don't have to say vulgar words to have a vulgar tone or,
I'm
something,
just saying he
devious.
was amazing.
Hmm. Because I do agree with you in some circumstances that, he was good. The cowl, looked good in some instances, and in other instances, it looked weird. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if it was, like, from certain angles or the side or whatever, but for the most part, it looked good. I feel he did a good job as, Batman, and the biggest compliment I can give him or this movie is that at the end, when he was, helping, like, the helicopter was there and he was helping people and all that stuff,
Mhm.
he actually made me feel something that none of those crappy Nolan movies made me feel, and he made me feel that he was a hero.
Yeah. Now I wonder how if that was because of how it was shot as well. Did you see, like, the background of it as well as, like, his cape flying?
Yeah.
So
Um,
it could
I I think it honestly, I think it was a combination of the narration, what
Mhm.
Pattinson was saying, and what he was doing, if I had to take a
Yeah.
guess, because, it's sometimes, like, people think that it has to be, like, some grand gesture where you're like and it's like, sometimes it's just, like, the small things or it's things that people don't notice, and you see it and you're like, you feel it makes you feel a certain way, and that, like, I haven't felt that in a Batman movie since Tim Burton's movies, like,
Yeah.
and to feel that here and, like, hear what he was saying about it and how, like, maybe it wasn't him that was changing the city, it was the city that was changing him or something like that, or whatever it was I was like, "Wow," like, they had that DC had that thing about heroes, like, heroes were needed or whatever, they had that little minute-long clip or two-minute-long clip of a bunch of movies that have been delayed now, but Batman was there, and I'm like, okay, first of all, you have Black Adam there, who's a villain. But second of all, you have Batman there, who, like, his past movies hasn't really been a hero, like, but here that's how it made me feel. So that's the one and only compliment Matt Reeves is going to get out of me for him. Pattinson, he did a very he did a much better job. Well, you know what? I have to think about a negative. That interrogation scene between well, was it really an interrogation? I mean, it was literally just a conversation between him and the Gimpler, like, "Yeah, well, what did you do?" or something. That's all he kept saying.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was bad. They I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the comparisons to the interrogation scene between him and the Joker in Dark Knight or whatever. To me, it wasn't necessarily the same, but the overall vibe was the same. While it wasn't necessarily what he was doing, that was similar. Um, it just yeah, I didn't care for him then.
Well, I disagree.
Really, you like that?
I loved him throughout the movie,
No, no, no,
and
no, no. No.
I liked that scene too.
I'm speaking see, this is what females do. I was speaking specifically about one particular scene.
I have no problem with that actual scene
Really?
whatsoever. Yeah,
Really?
didn't have
Wow.
a problem with it. Liked it. Sorry.
Hmm,
Sorry.
that's interesting. But, yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. It
Oh,
wasn't it
no.
wasn't Catwoman trying to get out of the city bad, but it was close. It was close. Like, if they did not have that scene in there,
Uh,
I would probably be okay with him being great.
Okay. Well,
Because I mean, like the cosmetic thing about me noticing that the cowl looked weird in some scenes, and other scenes it looked perfect. Like
mhm.
that's nothing. That's whatever. But that scene right there, like the you know, I don't know what they were going for. I mean, initially when he was like Bruce, when he kept saying his name, it's like, oh shit, he knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne or whatever. And then like the revelation about the orphan, whatever. I didn't care about that at all. But then him doing his best Christian Bale impersonation or whatever. Like it just, yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Oh, well, we can disagree on that because, I actually like that scene. I understood it. It's kinda like one of those things whenever, he found the carpet, tool, and then he's like, "You're not as smart as what I thought you were."
Hmm.
And,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and so when I saw that whole scene as to that,
yeah. Hmm.
it reminded me of a patient I once saw. And so, but just looking at the dynamic between a father and a son when they were talking, it was
Hmm.
kinda like that's reminded me of it because I was just like it just one of those things where it's like, you overlook things or you're too cocky and, stuff like that. So you thought you figured it out, but you didn't. But
Yeah.
I like the scene. I like, when he kept on saying the name, which still people are just like, "Do you think that he really does know that it's Bruce Wayne that's behind the mask?" And that's why he was saying his name that way. And then you saw like a little bit, when Batman looked at Gordon, it was like, "I think this is the end of the Batman." And
Hmm.
so you saw that moment like, "Oh my God, what if?"
How would playing devil's advocate? How would he know? Like, what in the movie has shown us that the Riddler would be? I can't even. That person would know how to figure out that Batman was Bruce Wayne.
Well, the only thing that I would think of that would make me think that he knew
Hmm.
who or let's just say he did, okay? Let's say that that's the point.
Hmm.
The fact that Riddler was looking so much into the stalking kind of in a way,
Hmm.
and even though he was right across, from Falcone's, like, club, and he
Hmm.
was looking all the time, what's to
Yeah.
say that he wasn't also following, other people, you know what I mean? So it just makes me
Mhm.
think, like, what if he
And he
did see
was there once
Batman?
as Bruce Wayne too.
Yeah, he was there as Bruce Wayne. What if
Yeah.
he did go ahead and follow him? Or he saw him come there, as a Batman and stuff like that, and he's like he put it together. I don't know. It's like those are one of the things I'm like, what if the Riddler did spy him? What if the Riddler
Mhm.
was stalking, Batman and you saw Bruce Wayne and was like, well, what? Wait a minute, what's he doing here? Has he
Right.
figured out or something like that? So that's the only way I would think that the Riddler would see him, or know who he was. But I
Mhm.
know that people have speculated and stated, that he does know who he is, but I don't know. I mean, if he does, he does. I mean,
Mm.
like, it's like what they said at the end of the movie. What was it? Everybody loves a comeback story. So you never know.
Yeah.
Riddler could come back.
And what did you think about the scene in Arkham at the end?
When I saw when I actually saw that scene, the laugh is what got me.
Mhm. Now,
But
did you see the Eternals?
no.
Oh. Have you ever seen that actor in anything other than the Eternals?
Yes, I have, and I
Oh,
can't
really?
remember where I see him. Yes, I have, and I don't. How would I put it nicely? I hope they go a different route. I'll just put it that way. But
Really?
I want to say that I really hope that on the next one they don't bring in the Joker for the second one.
Now, are you saying that because of Heath Ledger? Because let me tell
No.
you something. Let me tell you something. I was watching Spider-Man again today, No Way Home, and when Tom was here earlier, I said I think it's a good. It was good that the MCU did not do a Green Goblin because as much as that movie is trash, Willem Dafoe is not, and what he did with the Green Goblin, despite it being a metallic Power Ranger, um, was one of the best villains. It's just a sad that the suit didn't reflect that. But seeing him again in this movie in No Way Home, like just reiterated that fact. So anybody that they bring in, like it's almost like the whole what's going on with Black Panther now, even though that's due to like tragic circumstances. I don't think I don't know this dude, the one that was in the Eternals. I'm concerned because people are going to compare him
Mhm.
to Heath Ledger, because I mean, Jared
Absolutely.
Leto is like it's just a blip. It's not even, nobody even cares about that. But he is going to be compared to Heath Ledger, and I don't necessarily know that that's fair. Just like if they decided to do a Green Goblin, I mean, dude, it's Willem Dafoe. I mean, actually, you know what? Too, thinking about that, there are people that even suggested that maybe Willem Dafoe be the Joker, and I'm like, well, that's a little, he's a little old or whatever, but I could, after seeing it again, watching it again, I could see that he's got the smile, man, definitely. But yeah, I feel sorry for the dude. I feel sorry for anybody that is going to be the Joker next. The dude that was in on Gotham,
Mhm.
he played like three different versions of like what could have been the Joker or something like that. He was pretty good. But
Well, I will say this, okay?
mhm,
I will say that I don't, even though I know that people automatically look at, Batman and then they see Joker automatically,
mhm,
but I have to agree with what Lunga stated, where he was just like, Tim Burton had the Joker come out, Jack Nicholson come out in the first movie,
mhm,
and then Christopher Nolan had, the Joker come out in the second movie.
right.
If they did the Joker with the combination of other villains in the 3rd movie of the Batman, I would be okay with that. But I think that they should make way for other villains to come in that people might not know about, like Hush, maybe, or like possibly go ahead and go bring in Two-Face, do a good shot with him. The Court of
Mm,
Owls, do something like that where I can see different people coming in that people might not know about, but
mhm,
there are some great villains that could also, it would be logical for them to be in that Gotham. So, but that's my
right.
personal opinion. But if they did it, they did it. But I agree with you completely. It Heath Ledger did such a great job as a Joker in his own way. I don't really compare him to Jack Nicholson at all. I know a lot of people do. I just don't.
Mhm,
I just think they're two different portrayals. Like Cesar Romero is a different portrayal of, and I put them all in different classes. But I would say that we've seen Joker so much. Let's give some time for, if they are, that's going to be some really big shoes to fill. And
well,
I
when
don't,
did the Dark Knight came out? When was
I
it?
was at 2008 or something, I want to say, or
Really?
no.
So
Let me go ahead
we're
and check really quick. Yeah, it's 2008.
we're going on 10, 14 years, almost 15 years.
Yeah, and people still talk about him. And then you had the Joaquin Phoenix that came out. When did Joaquin Phoenix's Joker come out?
But
I know you don't. I know you don't consider him the
oh,
the
Jesus.
comic book. I know you don't. But some people do. So I'm just saying they're still
Those are
throwing him out.
fools. Those are what we call fools.
Well,
Because that is not the Joker. That is not the Joker. That was not a comic book movie. I wish people would stop saying that. It's an Elseworlds. It's not, you know what?
is
It's
it?
not even an Elseworlds. It's ridiculous is what it is. That's not the Joker.
But what do you think of my idea though of possibly bringing the Court of Owls or Hush or possibly Two Face into
I don't well, they did. Tommy Elliott was mentioned. Thomas Elliott was mentioned. That's Hush in
mhm,
the movie. The Court of Owls, I think they could, and
mhm.
maybe they could bring some redemption. Maybe they could say like Martha wasn't crazy. It
Yeah.
was like maybe the owls, the Court of Owls that did it or something like that, to try to get some leverage over Thomas if he became just like then again, that'd be like what Falcone was trying to do, by
Yeah.
having, getting the leverage over Thomas. Um, so I'm down for different heroes, different villains. I mean, Lord knows Batman has a lot of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but I I don't know. Do you think part of it is also because of the circumstances as to why Heath Ledger can't be the Joker anymore? The same thing is with Chadwick and Black Panther. It's different when an actor's like, you know what, I'm too good for this role. You're not paying me enough, or I don't want to do this anymore, or something, and they don't do it because they're still around. But here you have an instance where there's two actors, and you could say they're in the prime of their careers, and they're taken away, and
Yeah.
so that attaches a certain sort of um, fondness, I guess,
Mhm.
for the character, because you're 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 adding other feelings, other elements to it of sadness because they're not there anymore. So you think about like what could have been, stuff like that. That is all added to oh my god, they were so great. I liked Chadwick as Black Panther. I liked Heath as Joker. So I just feel that anybody that comes in and takes it over, I mean, they're gonna have a monumental. I mean, I and this is, you're gonna say it's biased again. I would trust Marvel to do a better job with it
Oh
than
gosh.
DC. DC
Okay, we're there. We
DC as
go.
far as
We're
casting, DC as far as casting. I mean, every I don't know. I don't know. I just I feel bad for either of those actors, whoever they are. And to be honest with you, even taking the whatever bias you might think I have aside, I'll feel bad for DC because they're in a no-win situation with this. Like
no, they're not.
you're going to you're going to have to replace them, and you're going to have to find somebody. You might say, and then people that have latched onto Joaquin, it's like, but that's not the Joker. He doesn't exist in this universe. It's a completely separate and they used tropes from the comic books. They used Gotham. They used Bruce Wayne, the Waynes. They mentioned the Waynes, but it's not. It's like, and this is the other thing I couldn't understand. People gave Gotham a lot of crap because they're like, oh well, okay, wait. So you have Bruce Wayne. He's like 8 years old in this. Well, how can like the Riddler and Penguin and all this other stuff? But they're okay with Bruce being a kid when the Joker is, well, the quote unquote the Joker is supposed to be who he is. You know what I mean? Like, where's
Yeah.
that same energy for all the trash you're giving Gotham when Gotham is doing something, and in my eyes, better than they did there?
Well, I can just state this. Here's something I'll ask you. Since you want to talk about the other Batmans that happened, how do you think that Uma Thurman did as Poison Ivy, and do you want to see a Poison Ivy in this Batman?
From what I remember of Uma, I don't think she was that bad. What made more of an impression on me was Bane,
Mhm.
because Bane, I mean, he was as jacked as he as he
Yeah.
was in the comics at the time. Like, I mean, and it's almost like Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie. Like, that guy might not have been able to act, but he looked just like Sabretooth. The guy
Yeah.
that played Bane looked completely like, if you can get like a real actor in that guy's body, that would have been the perfect Bane. But from what I remember, I think she was good. I'm not like a big Uma Thurman fan. I don't necessarily dislike her, but she was good for what it was, what she was. I don't know about having Poison Ivy in a movie. I mean, you'd have to think about doing something, new and different with her. And like you said, maybe they would want to, maybe they should do some, different villains. They have so many. There's so many they could choose from. And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
if you do Ivy, are you going to bring in Harley? Because apparently now they're a thing and stuff like that. So, you know,
now do you want, or what would you be opposed to a Robin being featured in Matt Reeves', can I say, if he does come back to go ahead and direct the second one, can you potentially see a Robin being introduced? Since that is one theory that they have floated around that they might, be bringing a Robin in.
they didn't mention the Graysons or anything like that? I don't
No,
recall.
but do you remember, okay, so do you know, okay, am I the only one that spotted this? But whenever Selena was leaving,
Mm-hmm.
the city or the town that she was headed to when she exited was
Mm-hmm.
Nightwing
Oh,
area.
Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
Bloodhaven.
Am I not crazy, or did I see that?
Yeah, no, no.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Bloodhaven did get a name check. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if potentially
Mm-hmm.
Nightwing can be introduced or something like that. But that's what they were asking Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves said that, he wasn't, totally, saying no on it.
Right.
But I'm just wondering, like, what is your thoughts on it? Would
But
you like to see a Robin? Would you like to
do
see
you
Nightwing?
do you think that would well, Nightwing is something different, but
Yeah.
do you think that Robin would fit in the world?
I honestly don't. I honestly am not really that keen on Robin being put in because, not to be mean, but onto the who was it that I tried to forget was even as Robin?
Burt Ward?
No.
Chris O'Donnell?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
I try to completely, like, and then also, Jason Gore was it Jason Gordon-Levitt or Gordon-Levitt, the one that played
Oh,
in the,
yeah, yeah.
Christopher
Yep.
Royals. He
Yeah.
was asked on
Dark
Howard
Knight
Stern
Rises.
if he was gonna go ahead and be Robin or if that would he was like, "It's over, it's done." He never even answered it, but they were just like, "Were you potentially gonna be a Robin or the next Batman?" And he never even answered that. But I'm just saying, I think that they've tried to introduce a Robin, but I'm just interested to see what are your thoughts if they were to bring a Robin in, or if they were to bring, a Nightwing in, or if they were to bring anything like any of those type of characters in, would you be okay with that?
It would depend. But I agree with you. I don't know if I don't know if I don't know if it would fit. I mean, because even in the comic books, people are and this is the problem you have when you make it quote unquote real. Although I do kind of like Pickle's idea. Um, but you can't you like having a child like as you're fighting people that are trying to kill you and that are homicidal and you know what I mean, that are like the worst of the worst, like that's child endangerment. Like there could have been any sort of child protection agencies out there that would like stop that with a
Mhm.
quickness. So again, that goes back to the problem of what you do when you make these things real, because then the framework that you have, the thing that you created, you're like, okay, well, in the real world, this wouldn't happen, and since we're in the real world, this can't happen, and then you start to doubt that. But if it's
Yeah.
like if it's comic book, if it's something where you can have some dude from another planet come here and fly around and stuff like that, or a dude that can talk to fish and maybe do other things with the fish if he so desires, and a guy that has a bow and arrow and can, I mean, the possibilities are endless. But when you decide you're intentionally going to ground something, then you're limited, and you're going to have to come up with oh no, it's like community service, that's what he's doing, that's why the little kid is there, like he's
Mhm.
it wouldn't make any sense, and it would be something convoluted and ridiculous. And then maybe, I mean, maybe Matt Reeves would want to add the element of Batman versus the child protection services, like that's the next villain. Actually, we don't need the court owls, we got the CPS. So I mean, I don't know about I don't know how that would play. I really don't. And even in the comic books, people are like, well, why does he have this little kid with like bright yellow and red, and it's like, well, to distract the criminals because they're looking at the kid, and then that way Batman goes in and takes care of them, because he's essentially the moving target. And since he's an acrobat and all that stuff, is in the circus and whatnot, he can do those things, and you don't question it. But in a movie that's grounded and real, then you're going to be like, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to fly. And so therein lies the problem.
Okay, I can see that.
But
Okay.
I mean, if they can do it, I'll go see it. I went to go see this. And as I said in the thing, I mean, I went in, one of the dudes, Ty, he asked me going, he's like, well, when we were sitting there, he's like, so what do you think? I'm like 4, maybe. And when I came out, he's like, "So what do you think?" And I'm like 6. So it got bumped up. I wasn't necessarily hating it,
Look
but
at
it's just
you. Look at
the
you changing
level
your
the
mind.
level of whatever nonsense that was going on. That was, yeah.
If they had a different Riddler, would it have been bumped up more?
Honestly, I would say yes. I would
Okay.
say yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Okay.
just
So
there was nothing. I mean, the clues, the riddles weren't, it was, yeah, I mean, and I've seen a lot of Riddlers. I've read a lot of Riddler. Like, it wasn't the Riddler. It wasn't the Riddler. It was like some like, I don't even start naming real life things, but it just wasn't. I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it.
okay, so here's a question though. Here's the last question for you.
Mhm.
So, would you think about would how would you think about Two-Face coming into this one, into this well, I use universe very loosely, but in this era of the Batman, or Hugo Strange or anything like that, what would you think about those 2?
Well, Hugo Strange has the potential for introducing some other fantastical elements into it. Honestly, Two-Face, I don't mind Two-Face, but that's yet another, like, gangster-esque type
Mhm.
person, and I don't know, like, is that what you wanna do? Like, Batman versus the mob all the time? Like, this is the thing, like, I mean, even, like, in the Nolan movies, okay, the Joker, he was just essentially chaos. That's
Mhm.
all he was, and, okay, that does exist in the real world. We're living in it, but, in the next movie, it was Bane and somebody who looked like Catwoman, well, at least when she had her little thing up and the ears came up or whatever, but they didn't acknowledge her as being Catwoman. It was just I I I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You wanna bring in Mr. Freeze? I keep people keep
I
saying
know.
Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze, and that's a tragic story. That could be pulled off, but, like, this dude, like, lives, like, I mean, is that feasible? Like, how are you gonna and again, I guess, has he ever come out and said this is gonna be like a realistic Batman, or has it just are we just supposing this because of what we've seen?
I don't think that, I mean, I know how he came out with the Riddler. I
Mhm.
know he did state that his vision of the Riddler was based upon the Zodiac and serial killers,
Oh,
psychological, so I
well,
do
there
know
you
that.
go. Yeah, see?
So, but there's also, like, the actor that played, who was it? Deathstroke has also stated how he wanted to come back and, fight against Robert Pattinson's, Batman, but I don't know if he would work in this era of the Batman. I don't know if he would work.
The
So,
guy that played Deathstroke?
yeah.
Hmm.
What's his name?
Oh, wait,
Magellano?
from,
Yeah,
the
from, Ben Affleck,
he showed up at the end.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the dude, he was in, wasn't he in, The Vampire Show? Um,
No.
yeah, he was in,
No, he was in that
no,
other movie.
no, he was, no, because he was, like, naked all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
he's always naked.
yeah, it was, with the chick that played, that played Rogue in the X-Men movies. That Vampire Show.
Oh, True Blood.
Yeah, he
He
was
was
in
a
that show.
Magic Mike in those movies, yeah.
Yep. Well,
And
those
he
are
was
movies
in
I haven't seen, so
but he was also in, Tobey's, Spider-Man.
oh god, that's right. He was,
Yeah,
what's his face? Flash Thompson.
yeah.
Ugh, terrible,
Yeah, so I'm just saying that
terrible.
he wants, well, it was floated around or whatever, and he stated that he would like to go into that, to see it because he spent a lot of time on that character or whatever. Anyway, so he really wanted to go ahead and go through it. So some
Mhm.
people also have floated around him going in there, but I just don't see him fitting well just
Into
based
this
upon this
universe.
movie. Yeah.
Well, see, to be honest with you, I think he could fit well. I mean, did you ever watch Arrow?
Yes, I did.
Because, that that guy that played, Slade in that show was really good, and basically Arrow was co-opting all of Batman's villains for the most part, and, the dynamic between the 2, I think it could work. I mean, Slade is essentially a mercenary, and he's also, augmented, he has, the fighting skills, he has the, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, he's quick,
Mhm.
so he could be a good foil for Batman. He could, they could fight toe to toe. I mean, in the comic books they have, even though originally Slade was a Teen Titans villain, but recently, I mean, I think he could do a good job. But I mean, again, I mean, you'd want to have something that would differentiate, it would separate it. Like, I mean, you could have Slade come in and, like, systematically try to take down Bruce Wayne or something like that, and then
Mhm.
he finds out that Bruce is Batman and whatever else, but I mean, those are things that we've already seen too. So you might wanna try doing something different. Not you,
Mm,
but, like, them.
yeah, well, it's just like how they were, how they started putting out Mr. Freeze and stuff like that. They started talking about how They could also see, like, the ventriloquist, I think what's that little thing that he has, the puppet,
Oh,
the
yeah, but
Scarface or whatever?
that's yeah.
Yeah, but I was just like, "That's just too much of Mob," I think, but that's just me. But, they put off that. I know they put, Mr. Freeze on there, they put Man-Bat on it, they put Professor Pig out there as well, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it has to be really unique to me for the next one to be, but I just my whole thing is that I would love to see a Joker, and like I say in the beginning, like, I think that whoever fills those shoes is gonna have really big shoes to fill, but I hope they do it in the 3rd one and not the 2nd one, just because I would love some more, villains that nobody knows about to possibly come in. But that's just my opinion on it. I know that they also, who was it? They put another villain on there too that they wanted to do, but I forgot his name.
Well, see, even with the that was my vacuum cleaner. Sorry. Even with
Okay.
the Riddler, I wonder. Well, see, no, because if the Riddler wasn't portrayed the way he was in this movie, I
Mhm.
could understand you saying, "Well, you're comparing it to Jim Carrey's Riddler," but I didn't because this dude isn't the Riddler at all. Period. Like coming up with like these little riddles or whatever, quote unquote riddles, and doing the things that he did. I mean, that it just wasn't the Riddler.
Yeah, I
But,
can see that. I mean, but it's like again, I mean, they like the freaking Alice in Wonderland. What's it called? The Mad Hatter.
mhm.
They've also talked about putting him into the Batman too. But again, there's so many people right now, or so many villains that they have put out that it's
Mhm.
just like I just want them to implement it really well.
What about this Man-Bat? Walter Hamada says Man-Bat.
I mean, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that they floated around is Man-Bat, Professor Pig, Mr. Freeze, of course.
Professor Pig, really?
Yeah, they've also floated around.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would definitely yeah, that would be nightmare inducing.
Well, if it's a Professor Pig, isn't he like a twisted psychopath though? Like he's like a psychopath, isn't he? And if that is what Matt Reeves
Yeah.
likes or is geared towards because of the Riddler, I could think that maybe. But I mean, again, they've also put out Clayface, stuff like that, as to potential ones that they want to put out there. But
Clayface.
yeah,
Hmm.
so that's why it's just like again,
Well,
it's
Clayface was kind of weird because when DC did their rebirth, they
mhm,
had Clayface working with Batman. And it was really weird too because I forgot who was writing Detective, but I did like Detective more than Batman because of the element because he had Clayface, if I remember correctly. I think Clayface, I think Batwoman was there too, and they were working as a team. And it they did something weird. Like, you're familiar with the X-Men, right?
mhm,
And you know how like they when they work out, they have the danger room.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know how or why, but in this book, they had a danger room, and that danger room was built out of Clayface. And I'm like, that's nasty. I don't know how they did it, but it was literally built out of Clayface.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So either he got like a severe power boost or I don't know what, but yeah, it was not appealing at all. At all. But I did like the team dynamic. I wish I could remember who else was there, but I know he was on there. And at the end, whenever they went in their new direction or something like that, he just left. So he was basically he was trying to be a hero. It was just like his circumstances, the way he became Clayface, were, was hindering him from being a hero, and he just went down that villainous path.
Okay. Well, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
awesome.
mean, oh no, see, hold on, Zaz. Now, if they added Zaz to the next or the one after or whatever they're gonna do, um, I might have a problem with that. because I do agree that Birds of Prey, what they did was ridiculous. I mean, I don't even want to get into what they did to Cassandra Cain. That was criminal. Okay, DC should have been shut down. Whoever greenlit that and said, "Yeah, let's do that," they should have been fired. Walter, you should have fired them. I don't know if you were there at the time, but um, whatever it was, that was disgusting what they did to her. And that's one of the reasons I hate that movie. Not because it was woke or feminist or whatever. It's because of what they did. Cassandra Cain is probably, I mean, yes, Barbara is number one. She'll always be number one, but Cassandra's right up there, like as Batgirl. She was incredible. And to see what they did to her was bad. But Zaz on the show Gotham, the guy that played Zaz, whoever that was, he was awesome. Every time he was on the screen, it was, oh my God, he quickly became one of my favorite characters on there. And I mean, this is a show, the dude that played Joker, the dude that played Riddler, almost everybody that was on that show was good in the roles that they were in, but he was awesome. So whoever comes in as Zaz, and it wasn't even, I mean, for the most part, it wasn't necessarily comic accurate, sort of, because like whenever Zaz kills somebody, he like does a hash mark on his body. So he's like literally like has hash marks all over his body because he's a murderer and stuff like that. They didn't really do that. They didn't go down that route on the show, but the guy that played him was incredible. So this will be a case for me personally. This will be a case of doing it, comparing it to like Heath Ledger or something like that.
Yeah.
But you should watch Gotham. There's some episodes that are like Smallville cringe worthy, but then there's other episodes that are really good.
Well, I watched Gotham the first season, and then life happened after that, that I completely just I started working more at the hospital at night, and then I completely had it on my to-do list to watch it, and then I literally fell asleep. So,
Yeah. No.
not because I wanted to, not because it's boring or anything like that. Just literally I would fall asleep because I was like just so tired that I could not give my attention to it. But yeah, it is a show that I need to go back and watch entirely. So yeah, it is on my list to go and do that.
Yeah, and they did take liberties, at things, and I had to deal with that aspect and stuff like that, and do whatever it is that you need to push through so you can watch it objectively or something like that. Like the whole Bruce being a kid thing, and oh, okay, so wait, so if Bruce is 7 or 8 now, by the time he's going to be Batman age, like around 25, 30, that means the Riddler is going to be in like an old folks home by then. Like, I don't think he's going to be a good villain, but yeah, it was good. It was a good show. I think I'm like, I'm an outlier when it comes to stuff like that, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was that bad, with the exception of maybe the season where they tried to introduce the Inhumans, which was not good. I don't like the Inhumans at all. But yeah. And what was the other one? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham. Oh, Legends of Tomorrow, which is another DC show. I like that show. Everybody's given up on it, at least that I know, but I still enjoy it. I don't know if they're going to renew it for another season, but it's a really good show. Enjoyable. And see, that's the thing, that I don't think DC fans like enjoying things. I think they need things to be dark and like depressing. This
No, I don't
they
think
can't
I
have
think it's just your
joy.
preference. I think it's just your preference.
If it was my preference, I wouldn't be watching things that were dark and depressing. That's my preference. See, that's why I watched it.
Okay, here we go. Here we go on the DC trash. I mean, come on. Come on. We
No,
were having a great conversation, and then you gotta go and hit below the belt there.
below the belt. How can I be hitting below the belt with facts? If I was like, giving opinions, then maybe that would be below the
Oh,
belt.
that was an opinion though.
Oh,
That
no,
DC
no.
likes things that are dark and stuff like that,
They
But
do. They
I
do.
think I think that it's just like a nice balance that
How
DC
many
has.
a nice balance. So wait, when did Batman Begins come out?
When
Actually, you know
did
what?
that come?
Let me see. Because it wouldn't even be Batman Begins. Everything ended
2005.
2005.
Mhm.
Everything would um every so 2005. So 90, what was it? 98 is when Batman and Robin came out. I think that's when everything started to change and they decided that they were going to go with this realistic thing. And it's been crap since then. It's been crap. Like, why do you have these characters, these fantastical characters with unique histories and powers and characteristics? Why bother bringing them to the big screen if you're just going to ground them? What sense does that make?
I think it's your preference. If you like it to be realism, then definitely watch, you know.
If you like realism, why are you reading comic books?
What if some
Why not
people
read
don't
comic
read it?
books?
What if some people don't read the comic books?
Right, right.
Is there anything bad about that?
But then you're misrepresenting the characters,
Oh my gosh. Okay. I
right?
just think that some people just don't
Mhm.
read the comics and they just go to the movies and they destroy a good movie.
But how can you enjoy a good movie when it's all dark and depressing and there's no hope? Like that was essentially what The Dark Knight made me feel watching the Joker, because all it was anarchy. All he was, that's what he was. There was no hope at the end of that movie.
Are you looking for hope in
That would be
everything?
nice because these are heroes. They're
But
supposed to be heroic.
at the end of it, he did go ahead and say to blame me. And then he's like, what
For
was
what
Gordon's
reason?
famous
That
what
made
was
no sense.
Gordon's line what
Let's
was Gordon's line whenever he said, he's not, the hero we need or something like that? I forgot what it
hero we
was.
deserve or something. Is that where that line came
Yeah,
from? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That was
So, I
whatever.
mean, I just say that you can just basically like a film and just if you like that, and I don't think that you always have to it's like some people that they get upset when they say, "Well, if you read the book first, you would understand what's going on with these characters." Some people get really mad when you even tell them to do that. So,
Mhm.
that's the same thing as people equate to you telling them, "Oh, you should have read the comic books," and stuff like that. It's like some people just go to the movies just to watch a good movie, and they know nothing about the comic books or anything like that, and
No,
they just watch it for what it is.
I understand that, but there are people that do read the
Yeah.
comic books, and there are people that do know that.
Okay,
So
and what if some of those people might like the movie? So does that
let's
make them bad because they like it because they think of it they're just doing it for what it is? They're
we'll
they're
see.
just enjoying the movie?
But then you get movies like The Joker, or
The
sorry,
Joker was not a
Joker.
good mo The Joker was a good movie. It wasn't
No,
a
The
bad
Joker
movie.
was the opposite of a good movie. The
Uh,
Joker was a terrible movie.
yeah,
Wait, sorry. You know what? No, hold on. Let me quantify it. The Joker was a terrible quote unquote comic book movie because it wasn't a comic book movie. Now, if you're looking for a movie that will give you basically a dissertation on the state of mental health and the way it's perceived in America and how it's treated and how it's dealt with or whatever, then yes, you might have an okay movie, a passable movie or whatever. But when you decide that you're going to steal, you're going to rape tropes from
oh my
the comic book
god, those
and put it
terminologies that you're using,
into
there's nothing like that.
oh, there is.
No,
That's what they spend the entire movie doing. What are you talking about?
they do not. They basically it is a beautiful tale. It's a different tale of the Joker. And it makes you actually have a feeling for that Joker to where it's like you feel that empathy, sympathy for that Joker.
No.
And so it makes you feel it touches you in a way. And so I've seen people that can't stand that Joker because they're just like, it's too, there's nothing good in that it's all depressing and stuff like that. I get that. But for me, I saw it for what it was, and it was a
Wait,
great film. I had no
you're talking
problem with
about
it.
Heath or you're talking about
Joaquin.
Joaquin? Okay. Yeah, no.
And I have no problem with that. I look at it for what it is. I have no expectations. I just base upon it by what it looks like. And so I love that Joker portrayal. It's a different one. I hadn't seen that one before. I mean, can we agree that it's better than Jared Leto?
But that's a very, very, very like
Okay, but can we
that's almost
agree that
subterranean of a
okay,
bar.
exactly. But can we say it was if we would say a portrayal of a Joker, like we're
Uh-huh.
not saying this comic book because even Jared Leto's portrayal of that one was not a comic book accurate. It was laughable, yes,
Right.
but it was not comic book accurate. But I would say that Jared
Right.
Leto's is one of those that's just like a horrible, horrible, and I want to erase that from my mind. But I do know people that like that Joker.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and whatever,
Why? What's the is there a united reason why they do it?
normally they tell me it's because it's different.
Because it's different.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
so
I
yeah,
suppose. I don't understand it, but okay.
so yeah, so I'm
Maybe
just
they liked the way he arranged the knives as he was laying down on his floor and they were circling him or whatever.
maybe, perhaps I'm not there to judge what you like.
You know what? I could though. That was trash. It was trash. He's trash. Whatever. It was garbage. Stop it. And bringing him back for Zack Snyder's Justice League was ridiculous. The you know, I
Well, so this is our this is I guess your and I don't agree with the Nolan level trash. You put that Riddler at all. I
oh
don't
no,
co-sign on
no,
that.
he
I
he
don't
completely
co-sign on the Bruce Wayne ranking at all. But I'm
no.
okay with the other ones.
But see, you do realize though that I gave you all the choices, first choices. So that meant that you set the tone for where they went. I mean, I can only, and you were going to put everything in great or whatever. So if I had to knock them down, the only way it would have been good. That's it. So even that was an accurate representation of where they should be. The only one that I really, 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 I put my foot down for was the Gimpler. That was it. That was it. Every other one, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm good with that. That's cool, whatever. But that one, yeah, I really, as a character for the Riddler, I don't know how you like it. I just don't. I mean,
I it's a different one. I haven't seen it
but
before, and so I have to it's like how they use the same excuse for Jared Leto. I'm just like, I can use it for Riddler. I'm like, I
they
haven't seen
brainwashed
that
you.
one.
They gave you
I haven't seen that one, but he did have riddles, to his little things, He was a crazy person.
oh
I
my
loved it. I
god.
loved it. But
Okay,
again, I work with mental health patients, so I get it.
so Stormy, why did the chicken cross the road? Does that make me the Riddler now? Am I a Riddler now because I
If
said a
that's what
riddle?
you choose to do, you can call yourself the Riddler. I
Oh
don't
my
judge. I don't judge you.
goodness. Nonsense. Nonsense.
So
He
we
was
should we
bad.
wrap it up here?
He was bad. I don't understand.
I will say this, okay, I love the Batman, I love this portrayal. Uh,
Mhm.
Robert Pattinson's, acting in this movie basically replaced that garbage that was the Sparkles. I
Hmm.
no longer call him that anymore, and, my hat tipped at him. He was an amazing, Batman, and I look forward to seeing what how he progresses into that role as Bruce Wayne more. I do. I'm really looking forward to the other movies that are coming out. And I'm sorry, I do think this is a masterpiece of a movie, but if you don't feel that way, that is your opinion. And but I will agree with you on this. The Christopher Nolan ones were trash. I don't like those movies at all. There's some villains I like in there. Like I didn't have a problem with the Scarecrow in there at all.
Uh-huh.
Liked him. I like Heath Ledger's Joker, but then again, is that I'm liking the villains more than I'm actually liking the Batman, movies.
Mhm.
But here, in this Batman, I it was equal. I liked the Batman as well as the villains. I liked the whole story. I liked, the story development. I liked it. So it's better than what we've gotten for a while. Let's just put it that way.
That's true, but it's also sad.
It is for what it is. Nothing's ever gonna top, Burton's films. Nothing is because
Yeah.
that Batman forever will be my number one, and
Mhm.
I watched the Adam West one.
Mhm.
And I watched Adam West Batman. I watched Cesar Romero's Joker, and then I went ahead and progressed on. I watched the '66 Batman, where there's this freaking shark that you could literally tell is a fake shark, and I loved it. I loved it for what it was. But I could say undoubtedly from seeing the progress and the evolution of the Batmans, I can
Mhm.
say Keaton '89 is always gonna be my forever number one. But Pattison for me is a close second. I did enjoy him. I did enjoy him a lot. It was a nice change. So
So Wait, so you're saying you're a fan of the bat shark repellent?
I thought that was funny. I did.
That's
I thought it was
awesome.
funny.
Every utility belt should have that.
I liked it. I'm sorry. I thought it was corny, but I loved it. It worked. I loved it.
But
Yeah,
see, but again,
it's not even fun.
that's creating, yeah, that's creating the universe, creating the tone. So that is when ridiculous things can happen. Or
Yeah,
any
so
Go ahead.
yeah, so I have no problem with it at all. I mean, again, Adam West's Batman was, now I did see the black and white one, which was the other portrayal of the Batman. I forgot his name though.
Oh, yeah.
But
Um,
he wasn't my favorite. I will put it that way. That's why I
no.
forget him a lot. No, yeah, but no offense to him or anything like that. But
Mm,
again, I can just say that Adam West is one again product of its time.
mhm.
Keaton product of its time, and so
But you do realize too that when Batman 66, when it came out, that was the comic book. The comic book
yeah,
was ridiculous like that.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with it. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Right.
I enjoyed it. So, but I would just say, yeah, that I enjoyed this movie a lot and looking forward to what this universe can show us. So, yeah.
Mm.
Sorry you did not like it, but
Uh, uh, uh,
well, I'm sorry you did like it. You did not hate it.
what didn't I like though? He's right there on the bottom.
I know the
Okay. Have I disagreed with any of the other ones?
No, you have not, but I
Great
understand
then.
what
So how
your
did you
issue
get
is
I
with the
didn't
Riddler.
like I fake news. What are you doing?
Fake news. 'Cause you
God.
gave it a 6 just because of the Riddler.
6. Yes. Yes.
You could have bumped it up.
And if the Riddler was portrayed
Like
differently,
an 8 maybe.
perhaps, maybe. Oh, and that the Zoe line. It really I when I go to movies, literally turn my brain off. I don't want to try to guess what is going to happen in the movie. I don't want to think about, like I don't want to do the thing I do, try to predict like, the scenarios or whatever. Just want to go see the movie. That line, that entire little 5-minute sequence there, like just took me out of it because it was so ridiculous. I noticed that it was ridiculous. And I'm like, that was bad. That was cringeworthy. It was so cringeworthy. I remembered that's the one scene I remembered the most out of this entire movie because it was ridiculous. Her line reading, whatever it was, the exposition, that was ridiculous. It was all ridiculous. So if they got rid of Gimpler and they got rid of that scene, it would have been bumped up. Well,
I
by get
think
rid of, I mean give them a different portrayal.
well, I can just say this, okay?
Mhm,
When I first saw the Riddler's, costume, I
mhm.
thought it was the only thing I could go ahead and describe it as is that if, the, I Know What You Did Last Summer guy had a baby with the Zodiac killer, that's what the costume would look like.
You know what? Yeah. Or, well, no, wait, I Know What You Did Last Summer, that was the fish man from,
Yeah, he had the slicker.
yeah, but it
It
was, yeah, what was the the brand, the fish brand? Oh god.
I
Yeah,
can't
no,
remember, but it
anyway,
just, like I just remember I saw the costume, right? And then I just thought of, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like, the slicker, and I was like, "Oh my god, they put the slicker again." And
you know what?
so
Yeah, yeah,
so
absolutely, absolutely, and, this is yeah, I just, it didn't have to be like, you don't have to do it Jim Carrey with like, all the, question marks on them and skin tight or whatever. But, you could have done it like I mean, in Gotham, could have done it like that, but they chose to do, whatever this was. This was like a reject from a David Fincher movie, man. That's all it was. They they, I hope they paid David Fincher, like, royalties from this because he deserves it. Because you said Zodiac was directed by Fincher, so was Seven, and this is where they got this dude from. It was
Well,
not
I mean, he did say that that's where he wanted to, like that's how he wanted to portray them, so there's nothing really we can say at that point. If this is his vision, then, rank it for what it is.
so he was one of the people that wrote the script, right? Because
Matt Reeves?
see, yeah, because see, there's I do this a lot too. Um, there are, I mean, people blame Zack Snyder for a lot of stuff, or even Christopher Nolan. But they weren't the main people that wrote I mean, I don't know how much, like, usually there's a writer, there's a director, there's a producer, whatever the case is. So I don't exactly know what input a director would have into the story, other than telling it on in the camera and stuff like that. But um and I'm looking it up as Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was David Goyer that wrote it. And that is hands down, sorry, screenplay David Goyer, story by David Goyer and Christopher Nolan. That is hands down one of the worst comic book movies ever in history. Now, is that Zach's fault? Probably not. We don't know. I don't know exactly, like I said, how much say a director has over the script after it's written. Let's see what the Batman.
I can say this though. Can I read this little bit right here? It
Absolutely.
says, Reeves also gave some details on what the character's roles and motivation will be in the film. He's not just a serial killer, he definitely has a political agenda. There's a terrorist aspect to him. He's indicting the city for what it is. And one of the things he's doing with each of these which of these crimes is, he's attacking the called legitimate pillars of the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should have read so-called, but a Collider did a horrible thing. Anyways, the whole
Yeah.
point of it was to put
I hate when they do that. Yeah.
the whole point of it was to put Batman on the path of trying to solve a mystery that was not only going to reveal the history of the city and why it was so corrupt, but that it's also going to at a point and become the actual quite personal.
Mm-hmm.
And so he also goes on to state that the inspiration or the version of the character that he portrayed is to Zodiac Killer. I read Mindhunter. It made me think of the Zodiac Killer and how he actually wore this primitive costume that really is a primitive superhero costume, a rogue's galley costume, and I was like, oh, that's really scary. The idea of people really wearing masks and withholding their identities and terrorizing people, and how it's scary that is. And so I started thinking, well, it could be an origin tale of the Riddler, and it could be an origin tale for some of these other characters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm.
And
Well,
so
Matt Reeves did co-write it. He wrote it with some dude named Peter Craig. This Peter Craig dude wrote The Town, which I think was directed by Affleck. I don't know what it was about, but he also directed The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. He did something called Bloodfather, 12 Strong, Bad Boys for Life, The Unforgivable, and then The Batman. And then he's also doing the Top Gun sequel and The Mother, something called The Mother. But yeah, there's not too much there that, screams good writing there for me. I mean, Bad Boys for Life was better than Bad Boys 2, but that's not saying much because that was a low bar too, Michael Bay. But, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I guess when. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's like you just have to. This is his vision of the Riddler, and so we just got to go by it with that. If you don't like it, understandable for me.
So by reading that, do you think he's going to change it?
I mean, his approach to the other villains?
No. Do you think he's going to, like, say, for instance, the Riddler is going to metamorphosize into, what we know as the Riddler? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it might be. I mean, all villains can evolve. You know that.
Yeah.
So I
Wait.
can see that.
So you think he's going to use the Riddler again?
Possibly. I mean, as they say, everybody loves a good comeback story.
Yeah, Bad Boys 2 was very, very long. Very long. And bad. Not in a good way either. Bad Boys 1 was incredible. It was awesome. And 2 was just, I don't get all the love everybody has for part 2. I just don't. But 3 was better than 2. But I do, yeah. So I wonder. I mean, I didn't care for it. It was just, I don't know. I don't know. And and the scene that I showed you I didn't even bring that up too in the Gotham Square Garden. That scene still makes no sense to me.
Oh my gosh, are we gonna go through this again?
Dude, come on. There was
Oh,
no reason. Like, what was him?
okay, let's give people a backup as to what you're actually talking about. He's talking about the scene when Batman is going down on the cable that is, has electricity coming down onto it, and then he
Mhm,
cuts the cable and then goes
mhm,
into the water. And
mhm.
then, he's also talking about how, you have this big what is it called? What's
Scoreboard.
one? Yeah, scoreboard. Thank you.
Mhm,
This dangling. He's like, oh, but they don't think about that. It's about to,
mhm,
fall in there. Uh, but again, I just told him that, whenever you cut the line, there is no power going to that. So it can there it's not gonna hurt you by going into the water or anything like that. And the scoreboard, once it goes ahead and it, unplugs after it falls, it's not gonna electrocute anybody down there because there's no current going through it. But it can go ahead and smash into somebody, yes.
mhm.
And so, that's what he is upset about, this whole thing. There you go. That's a is that a good synopsis of what you're upset about?
Well, kind of, sort of. It's just, again, it's the problem that Matt Reeves has, where he can't sequence these action scenes properly. Like, this particular one made no sense whatsoever. He looks across, he sees that there is a box that's like short circuiting. So he shoots his thing, his little torpedo batarang thing, whatever it is, or the grappling hook. He shoots it there, swings across to where the scoreboard is still dangling, and there's sparks coming out of that too. And then he grabs a cable that's swinging, and then while he's holding the cable, he takes off the bat logo off his chest, and he cuts the cable, falling into the water. What was that supposed to accomplish? Because there's still electricity going through the scoreboard and that box. Him cutting that cable did absolutely nothing except facilitate him falling into the water, which could have been done by either him jumping into it or I don't know.
He didn't want
Um,
the cable to touch the water, that's why he cut it.
but
The water's filling up inside the stadium, they don't know how, how it's gonna go, they saw it going, like, touching fairly close to the water, they saw a lot of people in the water, he cut it, bing, bang, boom.
but the thing
No need for discussion.
but the thing wouldn't the cable wouldn't have touched it wouldn't have touched the water. There wouldn't
How would you know how would you know how much water's coming in?
um because in fact in there, you know what? I'm trying to I can't not I just I can't. It's just people have to see this. Where
But
is it?
do they? But do they?
It yes, they do. Because then they're going to realize that Matt Reeves is bad at framing action sequences, and this scene makes no sense. Okay. Here we go. Because this is yeah, you gotta where is it? We're gonna shut that one down and go to this one. I just there it is. Where is it? It doesn't matter. That's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, no,
That's
your
ridiculous.
argument is ridiculous. Your
No,
argument is
that
ridiculous, sir.
whole sequence was ridiculous.
It was not.
Come on. Look,
I'm sorry, but you cutting the wire that was swinging over there that you don't know how much the water's coming in, you don't know anything else about that. You're gonna go ahead and cut that off. I don't
listen,
see the
listen,
problem here.
listen. For 6 ways. No, sorry. 2, 4, 6. For 7 ways, I have let you have your way tonight or agreed with you. You gotta at least give me this one because that sequence makes no
Veto! Veto, I
sense.
say.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. There's
Veto.
still electricity coursing through that building.
There
That
is, but if you could at least go ahead and get that wire and go ahead
him
and cut
cutting
it.
that him cutting that wire did absolutely nothing. It did
It cut the
nothing.
current. It cut the current from electricity. That's
What
what it
current?
did.
There's still another half to it. What are you talking? It's still hanging. It's not like there was like a box there or something where the electricity was flowing. It's oh my god. That sequence made no sense whatsoever. Okay?
I disagree. I understood it completely, why he did it. He just
But
wanted to
that's
make sure.
because you're delusional and
Oh
you
my
were in your
god!
delusional
Because I
state.
had understand a movie, I'm delusional. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
this is where we're
No,
gonna
no.
play this. Okay, alright.
You
This
know
is where
what?
we're gonna
No,
play it.
do you wanna know why? It's
Why?
because there were sparkles, and you were having flashbacks of a time
No,
of a
no.
time when there was a shirtless Rob and he was sparkly, okay?
No.
So
No, sir. No. No.
I have seen through your deception there, ma'am, okay?
I thought you were gonna say my shenanigans, but thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
No, no, no,
you.
no. That's complete and total delusion. But, you know, you enjoyed it, but, honestly, seriously, all joking aside, you come on. That's a ridiculous sequence. Seriously,
He
please,
is not gonna let this go.
please tell me that was a ridiculous
It
sequence.
wasn't. I liked it. It was not
So
ridiculous. Sorry, not gonna tell you what you want me to tell you.
okay, listen. I know with the car, you can say it's a matter of opinion, okay? Maybe I like my action sequences laid out more so I know the action that's happening on the screen,
Okay.
okay? And in this one, essentially, he's chasing the penguin. It makes sense. You're chasing the penguin. You gotta, you gotta catch him.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Okay.
This one, explain to me why any of what he does happens.
Again, like I stated, he goes ahead, he sees the electrical box right there, he sees the wire hanging, he doesn't know how much the water's gonna come in, he just sees it dangling on top of the water, just teasing it a little bit. So then he goes ahead and he cuts the wire to make sure no electrical current comes out. Now let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the box goes ahead and falls down. There's no electrical current coming out of that box. What I would be more concerned about is a scoreboard falling onto people. That's what I'd be more concerned about.
But see, you know what? And I'm willing to even concede that even if the box that he looks across and he sees the box is sparkling, the sparks are coming out of it. Even if that box fell off and fell into the water, unless there was a cable connecting it, by the time it hits the water, it's going to be rendered moot. Like it's not. There's nothing there. There's no power going through it, so nothing's going to happen to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Okay, so
I hear what you're saying.
and I'm even willing to concede that if that scoreboard thing, I mean, but then again, maybe the cable that's holding it up or something, maybe there might be a cable that falls, that's still connected to it. That
Mhm.
could potentially happen. But let's pretend that it doesn't. Let's pretend it just makes a clean break and the scoreboard falls in there. There's not going to be any power going through that either by the time it hits down, by the time it hits the ground. Right?
Okay.
So him being all extra, shooting his little grappling gun to get to where the scoreboard is, and then to cut it off, doing the supreme Nestea plunge sacrifice into the water is all performative, is it not?
I disagree with that. I disagree with it completely. He was trying to be a hero they needed.
Wow. He could have been a hero by diving into the water, okay? He didn't need to do all of that.
He
That
had to
was
cut the
all
electricity from the wire. I'm
there
telling you, it was
there
a
is
necessity.
still
It's a necessity.
where he cut the wire, there will still be electricity going through there.
No, there won't because he cut off the supply source.
He did nothing of the sort.
Yes, he did. Did you not see the spark
What
cease
are
to
you
exist as
talking?
soon as he cut it? And
You
then he
and
fell
these
down.
delusional sparks.
However, like I stated, the stream was suspended.
I don't, yeah. Wait, what?
I said that a while ago. I said the stream was suspended for policy violation.
Oh, really?
Yes. Gosh.
How did that happen?
Because you showed the Batman. I said that twice. I'm going crazy over here. You're like, I know, but I paused it. I was like, no.
Oh. Well, is it up yet?
It is.
Okay. Fake news. Anyways, I still concede that doing that would have fixed nothing. It did nothing. There was no reason to do that. You're just being extra, trying to be Superman. Stop it.
Okay, whatever. So, in conclusion,
Mm-hmm.
this was a good discussion on the Batman, even though it was suspended due to your fuckery in trying to prove a still
Well,
don't.
this is see, I kind of have a problem, which for the past, from 2016 to 2020, where you see things and then people tell you that you didn't really see them. It's kind of a thing with me. I don't necessarily appreciate that or like that. So when I see something that doesn't make any sense and people can't explain it to me in a rational way that actually does make sense, then I at least want people to know what I'm seeing and explain it to them so they can see it.
I can see what you're saying. However, I don't agree because I'm just like I go, I can see it for what it is. I understand where you're coming from.
Well, you also
But
you want him to be performative though.
well, this is a movie. Like I know that stuff's gonna be put in for theatrical
Ah,
effect.
and see, but that'll go back to, well, if you keep adding these criminals that are essentially similar, like the ventriloquist or Two-Face or whatever, I mean, how much variety are you going to have? I mean, it's just going to be literally him taking on the mob. So
Yeah.
you need those villains that are over the top and kind of cartoonish. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we agree then.
Oh, yes, we agree with the fact that the stream got violated, or taken down because you had to show one little portion.
Ha- have to sometimes you have to show it. You have to show. Come on.
Okay. Well, is this a good time to end it then?
I think so.
Okay.
Now I've proven my point, and everybody knows how electricity
Oh,
works.
oh my
But
gosh.
yes, in summation, this was a 6 out of 10 for me.
This is a 10 out of 10 for me, but that's just me.
That is just you. Yes, yes.
Hey, a
And
lot of people feel about the same way I do.
well, you know why it is? It's because they've been tired of all the nonsense with the Snyder Bros and all that stuff
Oh
going on.
gosh.
So they're
Okay.
just happy to
Here
see
we go.
something that represents DC in a positive light. Much
I think it's a beautiful movie. I think it's a great comic movie, and I enjoyed it very
well, I
much
mean,
so. It's a masterpiece to
at
me.
least it is a comic book movie. I mean, there's that. It's not like the Joker.
Oh, so there you go.
Well, I've never said it wasn't a comic book movie. I mean, I
No,
just
I'm just saying, I'm
simpler.
just glad to see that I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying I'm glad to see you think that.
Oh, yes, that I do. So,
There you
um,
go.
that is it. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for being here, Stormy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. My
Um,
pleasure.
and yeah, there will be. Oh yeah. Well, wait. Today's Wednesday, so maybe Thursday or Friday I'll do another new this week video. I'm sure. I don't know either one of those two, but yeah, this was good. I'm glad I actually did this. I don't know if I'm going to do it again, but I did like talking about it and the tier thing too. Even though it
Okay.
took all of 10 minutes to put together, it was hard work. Actually, no, trying to figure out that damn, what is it? WebMD or whatever it is. No,
Yeah.
WebP. Yeah, that's really annoying. They need to stop that crap. But yeah. All right. There we go. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks everybody that tuned in. Whoever's here, whoever was here, appreciate it. All you guys stopping by. And Stormy, you want to tell everybody where you can find you, or what do you want to do? It's up to you.
Just thank you for allowing me to be in your space and inviting me in here. And if you guys want to take or watch more of the rankings that I do or participate in, you can find me on the Grey Council, and we do them on Thursday nights.
There you go. And then you can see. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, don't you even.
I will leave it at that. Thanks for watching. And today is actually, it is, what time is it? Yes, today is officially New Comic Book Day. So go out and buy some books, because all of these things we were just talking about right now, they were actually comic books, and you can buy these things and read more of the stories, and different stories too, not just one version of the Batman or one version of the Joker or whatever. There's so many different things that you can find in a comic book store if you have a comic book store near you. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and have a great New Comic Book Day. Take care.